Introducing Pubcoin. Pubcoin is the rewards program for pub sports contributors. Regular chat contributors share their play of the day, POD, in the YouTube chat, including the phrase POD in their message. At the end of the week, the amount of units earned are converted into Pubcoins. Pubcoin can be used as reward points for prizes, shop discounts, and contests.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Mills here, Pub Sports Radio. Do you guys want to challenge the personalities here at Pub Sports Radio? Do you guys think you're better than them at entering in your MMA predictions and picks? Would you want to get paid for it? $100? Here's how you do it, man. You sign up right here at the link below. It's just this easy. PubSportsRadio.com. Enter your email. Pick your weekly picks. That's it. Oh, and you get bonus points if you can predict how they're going to win in what round. Every single week, a new winner's getting crowned. So every Saturday on Pub Sports Radio. So come on and check us out. You can win $100 just for signing up. Only thing you need to do is see if you can beat us here at Pub Sports Radio by entering your UFC predictions and picks weekly. Do it. I dare you. See you guys soon.
Your membership to Gold, you will be automatically entered in every horse race, every Wednesday and Friday. It is time to race horses. We are racing camels today.
Shout out to the Gold members. We're racing in San Antonio immediately here. And we're off. 2 minutes, 74 canals on this racetrack. It's wide. We're racing in San Antonio.
Pat Wally moving forwardly. Jeff Slaughter in the mix as well. And as is Randall Sheffield, who's put that beautiful nose out front.
But it's actually real grass here, Jimmy. Maybe Kentucky bluegrass. Oldie, no! There he goes. Oldie in the lead now. K. Wolf falls back. The horses love it. Sometimes they stop and eat it on the way to the finish line. That's why your horses start so far in the back. Here. Oh, look at Nussflush Allen bursting out here. J-Dub in the mix. Rude Boy up here as well. Jimmy, take it away.
There's Oldie. Oldie is moving to the front. We are past the halfway mark in our 2 mile. And there's Ricky Levy.
Oh my goodness, he's in the mix here. Jimmy, take it home. This is our first dog race ever.
19 seconds left in the horse race here. It's Fernando Mendoza trying to find the wire. 14 seconds left. Can Fernando Mendoza take this home? Here comes Kenny Ken. Kenny Ken wants a piece of the pie. Put his schnoz up front. Ricky Bobby, 9 seconds left. Can Donut Silks make a run? Can Res Mall make a run to be $50?
You son of a bitch!
Here comes Tori Coker. Kenny Ken, Smoke and Mirrors, Director 97. Home. That is where comes Jason Meyer, the other auto custodian. Billy Friedrich. Jones one all coming down to the finish.
Coin! Nowhere!
Oh no! Fanatical Jim!
Started from the clock of Peter Loshak, legendary sports handicapper, more dapper than a Dom. Father young phenom, known as Jimmy, who declared one day that the bag was here to stay. Information like a PSA, we all PSR, Pub Sports Radio, bizarre. Is a man named Slaughter and he flipped the script. No competition in this they quit the trip. But we say we be pubbing, better with the bag and you love it. We want it top 10, we above it. Let's check.
What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Wednesday, October 15th to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. We had a great day yesterday, 5-0. Went on Peter Loshak's show and swept the board and felt good. The starting with that 6-0 in Conference USA on Thursday and then destroying NFL, sweeping NHL. It's all coming together. And I want more. I love the feeling of succeeding in this industry, and I want more so badly. Thank you guys for joining us. Stacks play of the day is in. Number one, Sam Houston, over 47. We cashed on the over in that Sam Houston-Jacksonville State game. Now, we needed that late field goal by Jacksonville State, which, of course, broke Sam Houston's heart. I have those games fully capped. Jose will be joining us, as will Wine Time Sports as well. Then we have Wine Time's Best Bets, and those games are, it's all Wine Time Sports. But Jose will be joining us for all of this. He's coming off sweeping the board in college football last week, 6-0 with a push, and working together to defeat the books. It is working. Look at Fat wins that inspired by Jose betting 6 college football games. Let's get this all copied and pasted. Thank you for sharing that with us. Fap win. Give us fodder for conversation. Irish King in the house says the Blue Jays lose. And Swiggy says, shout out to our gold members, Gorky, Nunya, AM, Crystal Craig, and Chris Boggin. And yes, 5-0 yesterday. Those bets were sent out to the website members. So important, very helpful. Irish King went 5-2 in the NHL last night, lost with Pittsburgh. 5-2 is still very, very strong. Jim Dewigger ready to get to work. And Toby Lane, play of the day is Sam Houston money line. It's a tricky spot. It's a very, very tricky spot because they did look much better last week, and we cashed on them. We cashed on them plus the 7 or 7.5. Can't remember exactly what it was. We cashed on them as well on the total going over, and they had to deliver for us. It's tricky because they're playing at a soccer stadium an hour off of campus. There's no real home field advantage. It's not there. You guys know I've not afraid to back Sam Houston. I don't know if I can get there today though, but we will talk about it. Irish King cashing a 3-piece anytime goal parlay. Beautiful. Caulfield, Matthews, Eichel. Nasty Nate in the house. Toby Land says, guys at UTEP have checked out. The coach doesn't know what he's doing with his quarterbacks as well. They out. Sam Houston's first win tonight. Lock that in. Well, I like that. Okay, well, it gives us a lot to rock with. The adverse possessor under of the day, Detroit team total under 2.5 minus 105 for occupancy. We got Talk Sports with JT. He is on the Blue Jays money line this evening. Chappie Funk ready to get to work. AOD in the house. It is great to see you. Thank you for rocking with us. 9 Legacy play of the day is the Blackhawks money line. Also on the Mammoth team total over 3.5. Sam Houston on the spread and the Blue Hens as well on the spread. That is all copied and pasted here. We're about to get into NHL here shortly. I have moved on every game in NHL here. A 40 kid said, good morning, everyone from the Jersey Shore. Says, best show out there by far. Shout out to 40 kid ready to get to work. Chappie Funk getting that cash. And Jim Dewigger cashing the Calgary first period over 1 at plus 235 last night. Thing of beauty. Slatsy has Panthers 12-2 last 14 in Detroit. Lucas Raymond out tonight for the Wings. Panthers plus 110. I certainly don't disagree with that look at all. I do, however, want to fade the Panthers on the road this season, but I have not. I'm not on a side at this point in that one. The Lucas Raymond injury does hurt. I can't wait to talk about it. We're going to get into that very, very shortly here. AM liking the under in the Sam Houston game. Jim Dewigger took the first period over 1 at plus 175. Buffalo first period over 1 at plus 175. Slatsy's got a Mammoth Blues moneyline parlay at plus 105. Let's get all of this copied and pasted, and then let's attack the board here and get into the National Hockey League. I'm pumped up to talk hockey. Helps to get the season off to a decent start. I told you guys earlier, I was like, look, I'm not getting the empty net goals. I'm not getting the shootout winners. I'm not getting any of it, and it will change. So what happened last night? I got 2 empty net goals. It comes and goes. Just can't get frustrated when you don't get them. It is a big part of the National Hockey League. We watch, unders that are straight unders go over with 2 or 3 goals, 2 empty net goals in the last minute and a half, things of that nature. Steve G, 15-8. I love to see it. Christopher Carter says Bundesliga coming off 2-week layoff, goals over 2.5. Both teams to score almost the whole card as a play, and says he's been doing it for some time off of layoffs. I love it. We got Robert Franklin ready to get to work. Says was gone last week on a cruise, but back to work. I hope you had a great time, Robert Franklin. Hope you had a great time. Kong's Clip says for the first time in 12 starts, Peralta does not go over strikeouts. Drewski says Panthers smash, and Sky is on the over 6 for the Sabres Senators. Let's get this all copied and let's get to work. 5-0 with the legend Peter Loshak yesterday. And let's get right into it, shall we? Let's get right into it. The National Hockey League, we have a 4-game set this evening. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern with the Ottawa Senators, 1-2-0, 1-1-0 on the road at the Buffalo Sabres, 0-3-0, 0-2-0 at home. We'll have all these up here shortly. Can't see. I'm guessing hockey's here, and I'm right. So let's roll. KeyBank Center in Buffalo, New York. NHL spreadsheet play of the day is in as well. It is Florida minus 130 for Ronnie Crawford. Let's get this copied and pasted. Gorky making moves as well. His play of the day is the Delaware Blue Hens. Delaware and the Blues. Sorry. Delaware and the Blues at plus 115. And then Partisan Moneyline plus 225, 2 tickets. Thank you for that, Gorky. Thank you for sharing that with me. We get this here copied and pasted. And Drewski on the Senators money line. And my dude smoking a bat right now. Is there a better time than right now? I don't think so, my dude. I don't think so. Let me get our guy Robert Franklin's action here. So let's roll here. And Nasty Nate says, did you see that parlay? Which one? Let me know which one. Occupancy on the over 6.5 at plus 110 here. And Skunt Blasters has really liking the Detroit Red Wings tonight. You're making me reconsider. Well, let's just cap it together and see how you are feeling when we are through the breakdown, because it is a tricky one. It is a tricky one. Senators, Sabres, we have Linus Ullmark, who's not looked good thus far this year, but we expect him to turn it around. 1-2-0, 4.07 goals against average, 8.42 save percentage. I will, Nate, my man. Then we have Alex Lyon on the other side. And although he's 0-3 for the Sabres have a pretty good defense in front of him. They are missing Matthias Samuelsson and another piece to that defense right now. But he's got a 2.73 goals against average and 9.19 save percentage. He's looked very good. Man Bear Pig, it was glorious. It was glorious. Catching the live bet as well was wonderful. And I love that you joined. So both teams have got off to ugly starts this season, and they're going to get uglier. The Ottawa Senators are minus 118 on the road. Should the Senators, without Brady Tkachuk, be a favorite on the road? I think they probably should against this Buffalo Sabres team that is terrible. I talked about I thought this would be the year I'd have the Sabres futures. You know, Rasmus Dahlin ready to become a Norris Trophy winner. Owen Power ready to take that next step. You know, the defense is very strong. Instead, Kevin Adams has put such a terrible forward group around him that they can't be bet. They opened up at plus 102. They're now plus 104. Let's get into the total here for this one. And this is where I have bet. Now, I've already heard a capper on the over occupancy on the over 6.5 at plus money. And we have Sky on the over 6. I don't see where the goals are coming from. And I think both teams have really strong defenses. I think you could go as far as saying 2 of the best 5 defensemen in the entire world are on the ice tonight in Dahlin and Sanderson. We have a total here at 6. It is minus 115 to the under. And I moved on that minus 115 to the under. Jim Dewey says, have you seen Dahlin play defense? No chance for Norris. I am, and I know you watch this team every game, Jim. You are a Buffalo capper. I am a believer in Rasmus Dahlin. I am a believer in him. And I think that he is capable. Obviously, this is a terrible hockey team that's being put in front of him. And it's bothering these guys. They lose and they lose and they lose. And then they come back for a fresh start. And the Cousins for Josh Norris trade should get Kevin Adams fired. It should get him. I thought you were in upstate New York, Jim. Are you not in upstate New York? Sorry, Jim. I thought you were in upstate New York. Josh Norris should get him fired. It's not when general managers make trades and build their roster on what a player does on his best day. Yes, Josh Norris is a top 6 forward, but he's broken and battered and can't stay healthy. And now, of course, he is out. This team is so weak. But let's start off with the Senators. They come in off their home opener, an ugly 4-1 loss at home to the Predators on Monday night. Now, they had shot the Predators 32-26. They hit them 29-20. But as I said, it was costly. Their captain, Brady Tkachuk, injured his wrist. He's going to be out at least 4 weeks, and it's possible that he's out longer because they're deciding whether surgery is necessary. He played 13 minutes before he left the game. He is the straw that stirs the drink. 10 hits already. 10 shots on goal in 2.5 games, 3 assists. And the Sabres have been outscored 10-2 through losses to the Rangers, Brewers, and most recently the Avalanche at home on Monday. They were outshot by the Avalanche 37-28. Now, that's not a big deal. The Avalanche have so much more skill than them, but they were also out-hit 20-11. Now they've lost Norris to an upper body injury. They've been playing without their number one goalie, Pekka Luokkanen. They have Matthias Samuelsson and Michael Kesselring, another, he's more of a depth defenseman, out. Zach Benson, who you would want to take a top 6 role, he's out. Jordan Greenway's out. Where do the goals come from? That's the question. Oh, you're saying you're not a fan of Dali? No, okay, sorry, my man, Jim. No, it's all good. And look, listen, you are the expert on the Buffalo Sabres. You know, you're in the area, you watch them every game, and I absolutely trust your takes on all of this. I just don't see where the goals are being scored. I see two teams that don't have enough skill right now to score at a high rate. This is a must-win game for both teams. I think it'll be extremely tight checking. There'll be no opportunities or very little opportunities for offense. And I took the under 6. Now, when you are in a situation like this with two bad teams where you don't see offense, now there can be high-scoring games in this situation. I just think that the Sabres hate themselves. How many people are going to be at this game? They've had 2 home games this year. We have a Wednesday night home game. What, is there going to be 12,000, 11,000 people? It's going to be half empty. And it's whose fault? Well, it's the general manager's fault. It's the putting this roster together when you have number 1 overall picks on defense and you can't find a forward group to get with them. So for me, this was not too difficult. I think it will be very difficult to score. Jim Dewigger says more Sens fans than Sabres fans. I agree with that. We got Truth Teller in the house. Will Johnson, serious business. We do. Occupancy said, I bet the over, betting on volatility. A few empty net goals. Last game in Ottawa, no captain, winless at home. Think it could be volatile, and both teams score 3. It's completely legitimate. But I do not know where the Buffalo Sabres get their goals. Their forward line, with Zach Benson's hurt. So who is Zucker going to come up and play with Thompson and Tuck? Ryan McLeod is not a top 6 forward. Either is Josh Doan, but Ryan McLeod wins faceoffs. You have Tage Thompson and Ryan McLeod. Both your centers are very tall. They win faceoffs. They can get the job done. And you have this great defense. Now, I believe in this defense. I believe in Bowen Byron with Rasmus Dahlin. I believe in Owen Power with Connor Timmins, although it would be better if Matthias Samuelsson was out there. I believe in their defense. And then when we go to the Ottawa Senators, you need Tkachuk out there as rocking and rolling and hitting everything in sight and standing in front of the net and drawing penalties. You have Stützle now with Zetterlund, and Drake Batherson's hurt. Like, we're not even sure if he's going to play. Dylan Cousins, David Perron, and Michael Amadio. In what world is that a second line? Is that a top 6 forward line? It's none that I know of. Now, you could say, well, Ridley, Gregg, Shane Pinto, and Claude Giroux are the second line. And if you were saying that, then I would say, okay, well, I don't know if that's a good enough line, but it's certainly better than Perron, Cousins, and Amadio. Jake Sanderson, Artem Zub, the defense is the only thing I can trust here. I think this is going to be a very tight checking divisional hockey game. And Stand on Biz, my man, says, how do I upgrade my membership? Thank you, man. We want you in the Discord. But I'm not certain exactly. I've just, been a member for years, so I don't know exactly how to do it. But I believe you go to YouTube, to our YouTube channel, and you do it all through there. Samit says Brady Tkachuk is yet to score. Look, what is that? He's played 2.5 games. He's 10 shots on goal. He has 3 assists. 10 hits. When you're Brady Tkachuk, there's other things you can do on the ice, and you're going to notice that he's gone. Look, I think in a divisional hockey game like this, where both teams need to win desperately, nobody's going to be in the stands. The coaches are about to get fired. The general managers are about to get fired. Now, maybe it's a little much for the Senators, who are coming off a good season, but these teams are going to be terrible. And who would have thought that from what we saw at the end of the year last year from Ottawa? So I'm on the under 6 at -114. Under 6 at -114 for me. Let's roll on to game 2. Game 2, 7 p.m. Florida Panthers at the Detroit Red Wings. Here, I think this will be it. We have Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan. TJ agreeing with the under and leaning to Buffalo. Maiden Philly says draws the play here. And Will Johnson says biggest bet of the day is the Florida Panthers. Well, you're with Slatsy, so you're in good company. And Sergei Bobrovsky has looked spectacular so far this year. 3-0, 1.67 goals against average, 925 save percentage. So is Cam Talbot, 2-0, 2.10 goals against average, 925 save percentage. They have both looked very, very good. Let's grab the line on the YouTube page, on our YouTube account. Not this money sign that's on our chat right here. I'll get it all figured out for you, Stand on Biz. And we got Swiggy here as well. So we'll get it hooked up for you. Slatsy says no. Yeah, I think Samit. I think they're going to tell us any minute that he needs surgery and he's going to be out 6 or 7 weeks. They're trying for him not to have surgery, and so it's a mess. Slatsy says no. Lucas Raymond screws their first line and their power play. It does. It does. Remember when we started the year, I told you guys the Panthers will cash unders over and over and over again with this roster and what they're trying to prove here without Barkov and without Tkachuk. Now they also don't have Thomas Nosek and they don't have a defenseman, Dmitry Kulikov. So that game against Philadelphia, it should have gone under, but we understand the situation under bettors in NHL. It was 3-2. The Panthers pulled their goalie and the Philly Flyers scored twice in the empty net. So it went over. Panthers outshot Philadelphia 26-22. And the scary thing for Rick Tockett's Flyers is Florida outhit them 24-8. They beat them up. And Rick Tocchet is not going to sit back and handle that. So, of course, Florida opened their season with 3 straight wins at home. I don't want them on the road. And you guys can sit here and say, I've got the better team. Lucas Raymond's out. We'll talk about Detroit's situation. And I don't disagree with you at all. What I want is the under. I think Florida is going to play very clean hockey. You take Lucas Raymond off Detroit, take him off their power play. This line is moving quickly towards the under. There's been big moves towards the under. Wow. It was moving when I bet it. I got -118. This got up to it's -125 right now. And I see 5.5s now on the board. So let's talk about the money line, and then let's talk about the Detroit Red Wings here. Go over to the money line. See what you guys are dealing with your Panthers, which, look, I don't think is a wrong move at all. The line's moving pretty briskly towards the Panthers, opening up here at -156, now at -138. Oh, I guess that's the opposite. It's moving towards Detroit. My bad. Sorry. +137 to +122. We have the line moving towards the Detroit Red Wings. And again, it'll always come down. And Michael Johnson on Florida. Look, go get it. Go get it. But I want to fade them on the road as much as possible. I want that, and I will be doing that. You guys will watch me do that, and we'll see what sort of success I get. I'm not going to do it here. Peanut, I love to hear it, my man. Let's keep cashing. TJ on Florida, Detroit, first period under 1.5 at -102. I've told you guys that I would like to double up on a lot of these spots, and I will start doing that as we get deeper into the season. And Peanut, we don't know who will start in net, but we assume that it's Bobrovsky here just because they're coming off of a loss and they have yet to win on the road, even though it's just been one game. The Red Wings coming off their second straight win. So they beat the Leafs for the second time in 3 days, 3-2 at Toronto on Monday. But they were outshot 40-15 in the win. And what happens when you take Lucas Raymond off this lineup? I mean, he is a sniper of the very highest quality. Well, what happens to this Detroit Red Wings team? And now, do we need to worry about their power play? It certainly affects their power play. But when you have a Dylan Larkin and you have a Patrick Kane, you're going to be okay. When you have Alex DeBrincat, you have power play specialists. Now, Emmett Finney, there's young talent on this hockey team. But I am again gobsmacked that Steve Yzerman has this much time to build a hockey team. Very high draft picks, and this is it? Now, look, I'm a believer in Kopp and Comfer on the third line. I kind of like the fourth line with Rasmussen, Appleton, and Van Riemsdyk. I think Moritz Seider is going to be an elite defenseman, and maybe he already is. But I am astonished here. I'm astonished that this is the team that Yzerman, the great Steve Yzerman, has built. We saw what he did in Tampa. And if you want to compare, look what his rival, Joey Sakic, is doing in Colorado. Well, putting together a much better roster. So, look, I'm on the under here. I'm on the under in both of the first two hockey games. We saw what Detroit... Well, first off, both goalies have looked excellent to start the year. The Panthers are going to be an under team, and they'd be coming off of an under if they didn't allow two straight empty net goals at the end of the game. The Leafs are going to have a difficult time scoring, and this is going to be a very physical hockey game. The Panthers are going to try to impose their will on the Patrick Kanes and the Alex DeBrincats. That's what you do to Detroit. You try to hurt their little forwards, and I expect them to do that. So Johnny Gunn says, do you prefer first period or full game? So for me, Johnny, and again, like I would prefer, honestly, to double up on it. I would prefer to double up on these spots. I kind of liken them to the first half of full games that I've been betting in football, and that's worked very well for me because it takes away the hijinks that happens. But if I have a 6, it's very different than a 5.5 for me. So when I can get a 6, I will lean to that. If I'm getting a 5.5, I will generally lean to the first period under 1.5 because I do not any longer have the push and play. So that's how I handle things. And again, I would prefer to bet both. Here. So not getting the chance to bet both. Obviously, I have the opportunity, but this early in the year, I just don't feel the need necessarily here. So is this facts that it is Merrilainen in net for Ottawa? Levi Merrilainen looks like confirmed here for the Ottawa Senators. And I think we should be very comfortable with that. Linus Ullmark has looked terrible thus far. So I think we should just be very comfortable with Merrilainen and trust the Senators brass here if Ullmark looks so bad. This is a must-win hockey game for both teams. So I'm going to try to be comfortable with Merrilainen in that. And TJ says he likes him better than Ullmark for sure. I mean, I don't think he'll have better stats when we are in December than Ullmark, but I think that we should be comfortable with that decision here. AM's on the Red Wings money line, says Panthers fit the snapped winning streak system. Bet against the road team. So there we go. So I'm on the under 6 in both of these spots. And I think that's a very important conversation, Johnny Guns, about the 1.5. And I think also I need that clarity myself. And that's how I like to handle things. If you can give me a 6, I think that's the strongest position because you can cash unders in 1-1 games after one period, but lose that first period under 1.5. If it's a 5.5, the empty netters scare me so much that I'll lean towards that first period under 1.5. So I'm on unders in the first two games. Let's move on to 9:30 p.m. Eastern action. And we're going to start with the Chicago Blackhawks at the St. Louis Blues in the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. The Blackhawks 1-2-1, 0-1-1 on the road. Blues 2-1-0, 0-1-0 at home at Enterprise Center. Spencer Knight is expected to be in between the pipes for the Blackhawks. 2.35 goals against average, 9.20 save percentage. It's funny, the Blackhawks team I kind of like. They have a little more truculence and toughness than I would expect, and accountability. than you would expect with a really young team that's building around a very high draft picks. Look, if Burakovsky wants to step up for 20 games or however long it will be before he just disappears playing with Bedard, that's all fine and good. Frank Nazar, very, very high hopes. That's why they gave him the big contract. Tyler Bertuzzi gives you toughness. I really like this third line, Donato, Dickinson, and Mikheyev. Mikheyev's problem is he can't stay healthy. He can play, and he can play both ends of the rink. Dickinson is their penalty-killing aficionado. He's their face-off winner. They have Nick Foligno on the fourth line for more, captain and leadership. So what has happened is all of a sudden you'd say, well, where's the talent around Connor Bedard? And this is an under hockey team. Now, we want to watch it longer, and do trust Blackhawks defense as Sam Rizzo and Alex Vlasic as their number one pair, Connor Murphy and Grzelcyk as second pair, Kaiser and Crevier. They're going with 7 defensemen right now, and they're moving their lines around. They're shifting their lines around quickly. It's not working for any offense here for them. I've got Binnington in net here. Binnington is in net here for these Blues here. So, Will, I like yours. There's no issues with your spot on the Panthers, but if it's about injuries, the Panthers have way, way more injuries than the Wings. Way more. The Wings are missing one player in Lucas Raymond, although he's important. I mean, we got 4 players from the roster missing for the Panthers, and 2 of them are their very best players, and one's a very important defenseman. But Hofer will be in net for St. Louis, says Slatsy. And that's another situation where I don't know what benefits them the most. I'm higher on Hofer than others. Samit says 4 Nations Binnington. He's not looked that good to start the year. He has an issue with not looking that good to start years, or not looking that good until games are really important. So the Blackhawks come in off their first win of the season, 3-1 at home over the Mammoth on Monday. They were outshot 22-14 in the win. But here's this thing about the Blackhawks that makes them quite a bit different. And we could have analyzed this and figured this out. But in my head, they have Connor Bedard and offense. But that's not this roster. This roster has accountability and toughness. What do you want to do against the Utah Mammoth? Beat them up. Teams that can physically hurt the Mammoth will beat them. I'm not high on the Mammoth at all, but they have elite level snipers. Well, the Blackhawks out-hit the Mammoth 31-16. The Blackhawks have some tough guys on this team. And you're always going to have, half of the game, you have either Bertuzzi or Foligno out there, which creates accountability. And then you have Dickinson, as we talked about. So, yes, they were outshot 22-14, because where's the talent? It's a very strange roster, but it's not a roster I dislike that much, because they got some old-timey toughness out there. So that's the Blackhawks. After losing the home opener 5-0 to the Wild, the Blues hit the road and picked up confidence-building road wins. They beat Calgary 4-2. Then they beat Vancouver 5-2. They're missing forwards in Toropchenko and Oscar Sundqvist, who are dealing with injuries. So, and I know Irish King, I know there's a few of you that are very low on Hofer. I'm not. I think that he is a decent goaltender, a decent young goaltender, and can take the job from Binnington. Now, he had the opportunity to do it last year too. He couldn't do it. So, we'll have to see from Hofer. But let me tell you this. Now, obviously, what's happening at Madison Square Garden is in my head. But the Blues get beaten badly by the Wild at home. They go out on the road and feel good about themselves. Also, don't forget that win was on Monday. And their prior game was on Saturday. So they beat Calgary on Saturday night. On Sunday, they fly to Vancouver. On Monday, they beat Vancouver 5-2. On Tuesday, they fly home from their road trip, and they have to deal with all the things that come with coming home. Now, that can be different for a 22-year-old than it is for a 35-year-old, but there's issues that they're coming home to. So what I want to do, and what I've done, is what I would prefer to have done is do what I did with the Sharks last night on the first period plus a half at -130. The problem is that the Blackhawks plus a half is more expensive than that. It's up to -150, which is too expensive. Although I kind of want to open up that chamber in my action, I'm hesitant to do so, to drink that much juice. So what I am doing is I'm on the Blackhawks first period. Yes, the Blues can, the roster-wise, slowly take over this game. But they are coming home. They're coming home off of 2 excellent hockey games where they played very well. And now they're coming home to their Enterprise Center where they didn't score a goal in the first game. Is it possible that they start squeezing their sticks too tight? They're huge favorites. I think it is. I think it's so possible that I'm on the Blackhawks first period money line at plus 150 here. Oh, wow. And look at Gorky saying Foligno is taking a leave of absence for the daughter's surgery due to a heart condition. Yes, we've heard about what he's been going through. I didn't know that he was taking a leave of absence. Is that so? He's not, I guess, because I still have him in the lineup tonight. But he must be going. Let me see if they got any news on him if I click here. Because I've got him on the 4th line tonight. Thank you, though, Gorky, for that, because that does take away accountability. Maybe they can't use their 7 defensemen here. AM says Crazy Blues have covered the puck line in 7 of their last 10. So I'm on the Blackhawks first period at plus 150 here. I'd like to see nothing has changed for my line as long as I'm in. Let me just see what it is right now. Here it is not changed. So it's still plus 150 for the money line. RotoWire says he's out. Thank you, Swiggy. And thank you, Peanut. I'm on the Blackhawks first period. I like fading teams off of very strong road trips. I like fading teams on the first game back of a very strong road trip. And if I don't have the confidence to fade them full game, I have no problem just taking the first period money line. Let's go over the line history, though, for you guys. Line history-wise, we have the Blues at minus 227. They opened up at minus 223. They got up to minus 230. The back minus 227. 4 cents of movement for a big favorite. Does not concern me. Although, remember, we saw the line move against the Leafs last night pretty heavily. That didn't help. Then, from a total standpoint, I'm looking at 6s. You can either take a over 5.5 around minus 30 or an under 6 around minus 120. Depending on what you like. There's been 5 cents of movement to the over 5.5. I'm on the Blackhawks first period. There's our guy, Guillermo Zertucci in the house. Thank you, man. Let's keep it rolling. Let's talk about our 4th and final game before we get into Major League Baseball with Wine Time Sports and TJ. 9:30 p.m. Eastern, the Calgary Flames at the Utah Mammoth. Flames are 1-3, 1-1 on the road. Yes, Cooley confirmed here. It's his first start of the year. I'm very interested to see what Cooley does this year. We have, I hope, Karel Vejmelka. Well, we know it's their home opener. It's the Mammoth home opener tonight. So Karel Vejmelka will be in there. 1.98 goals against average, 918 save percentage. So I lost fading the Flames in their first game of the year. I've gotten all that money back and more fading the Flames. The Flames want the number 1 overall draft pick this year. They haven't come out and said it, but that's what they want. That's the only way they can rebuild. They have these young snipers, and these young snipers aren't tough, but they're snipers, but they're not tough. Remember what we talked about. What did the Blackhawks do to the Mammoth? They hit them and hit them and hit them. One thing Calgary is incapable of doing. This is a very soft hockey team that won't ever instill any fear into their opposition. So here we now know that the Mammoth don't have to worry about getting beaten up. You also have a Flames team that's missing Pospisil and Huberdeau down the center of the ice. When I look at the situation for the Flames, I point and laugh. I wish I could have taken them to miss the playoffs, but it was too expensive. I took their total under. I took their under the season, and it was way too high, 83.5 or something like that, which is insane to me. Will there be times as a dog that you want to back them? I don't know. Maybe against the Oilers, maybe in a divisional battle when they'll be overlooked. They do have, Blake Coleman and Michael Backlund, so they do have, some accountability. Igor Sharangovich as well with some accountability defensively. Connor Zary they're having issues with him. He's now a 4th line centerman. He shouldn't be. He's got a ton of skill. I mean, you're asking Kadri to be a 1st line center. Who are you giving him? Gradin and Coronado? You're giving him squad as zilch. I'm not high on this defense, but it's better than the forward group. So I think that, yes, the Mammoth are coming, or don't have Sean Dursey, who he knows is important, and Terrell Goldsmith. They don't have left winger Liam O'Brien and Alex Kerfoot, a centerman. That would be helpful. But they're coming off an ugly 3-1 loss at Chicago on Monday, and they beat Calgary easily here. Easily. Home opener. Calgary on the second half of a back-to-back. Calgary played their hearts out against Vegas last night. And what do they get for it? Well, when push comes to shove, they allow 3 goals in the third period because they're a weak-ass hockey team. They get on their plane. Their facilities are trash in Calgary as well. That's why nobody wants to play in Calgary. So they get on the plane and they fly to Utah. Utah, angry about losing to the Blackhawks 3-1 with their home opener. Fans going fucking bananas. And they're playing a hockey team that does have some skill in the Flames, but has no toughness. They were not going to get bullied around. How many goals Gunther going to score tonight? So I am on the Mammoth puck line, and I'm on it with confidence. I got plus 113. It was plus 110 over on 365. I want to fade the Flames. I don't care, if they are coming off of a loss, because they're coming off of a loss that required a ton of energy. Getting on a flight, flying down to Utah for the home opener for the Mammoth off an angry Mammoth hockey team. So I love it. Absolutely love it. So there we go. I am on the Utah Mammoth. I have a move in every game here. I'm on the under 6 in Florida, Detroit, minus 118. I'm on the under 6 in Ottawa, Buffalo, minus 114. I'm on the Mammoth puck line, home opener against the Flames, who I have no respect for. Let alone, I don't think they're a good hockey team. I do like Kadri. And I think that if you are in the play, if you have a playoff hockey team and you can, get Kadri from the Flames at the deadline, you do it. I like him. He's tough and he goes to the dirty areas. I like him a lot. Blackhawks first period at plus 156. Would I have preferred to have the first period plus a half? Yes. I'm tracking these spots now. The ones where I deem are too expensive to bet. Minus 130 with the Sharks last night was beautiful. Why was it beautiful? Well, you had the Hurricanes playing against the worst team in the league, flying across the continent in their first road game. So where were they for the first 20 minutes? They were nowhere to be found. There we go. There we go. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Thank you for sharing NHL with us. We're coming off a board sweepage, but look, board sweepage doesn't mean much. What means something is your season-long record. I'm 13-10. That's not that good. 56.5% plus 2.68 units. ROI plus 11.65%. Average line plus 104. The important thing here is to come into this season with confidence. That's more important than anything, and that can go away when you are, get off to a bad start. So yesterday's 5-0 with Loshak was crucial. It was so important. The most important thing about it, and I don't mean to wax, let's get into MLB playoffs, but the most important thing about it was extra work. I wanted to focus on football, but I love Peter Loshak, and Gokster's not available until starting next week. So I grinded through 8 games and fought. And I love when you put in extra work, when you put in the work and you grind to get rewarded. That's what life is all about. And it doesn't always work out like that. But it worked out like that yesterday, and it pumps me up so much. So let's go into Major League Baseball playoffs right now. Let's bring on your first guest. He is the first capper to hit over 60% in back-to-back seasons. 60%. Good God. Please welcome a man who has been destroying the Major League Baseball playoffs, our friend TJ, to the show. TJ, what's good, man? How are you?
Good morning. Doing good, doing well. Sorry I couldn't jump on for hockey, but excited to do this baseball game with Wine Time and you, and let's see what we come up with.
Let's see what we come up with. Hopefully, now Jose is also producing another show, so he may not be able to rock with us right now. But he will be on with us later to let us know his plan of attack. And I know he wants to talk about it. Let's bring on our next guest, the star of Wednesdays here. This is a shorter show today too. So I am so close to being finally completely caught up with records. It's been pretty painstaking. So you'll have them all up, but he's had a great baseball season with a very, very high sample size, a ton of action, and college football. We are moving in the right direction, and I'm looking forward for all of the season that is to come. I love capping with them. Please welcome from Los Angeles, California, host of Walk-Off Wagers and star of the Tailgate. Please welcome our guy, Wine Time Sports. Wine Time, what's good, man? How are you?
Jimmy the Bag, TJ, happy Wednesday, guys. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Good to be here, as always. I'm excited to cap this card today. We've got some really nice games in college football. We've got a good playoff game in baseball tonight, guys. So you guys see the hoodie on. It's a little bit of a fall day out here. It's like 64 degrees. It rained yesterday. So you guys see the hoodie on. I got the back window on. It's a beautiful day today. So I'm excited to be here.
Well, I am excited that we start off this cap with the Stacks Play of the Day number one, because it's not only Stacks Play of the Day number one, but I'm also wearing the man's jersey today, and he is the reason we're here. He is, and that is George Springer. George Springer's outlier season has been spectacular. He's so locked in at the plate, and he gives everybody just a sense of calm, the vet that he is. And it's nice. You need a sense of calm when you're down 2-0 after your first two home games. Now, it is a best of 7, and we head to Seattle. But shout out to our guy, Justin McKelvey. Stacks Play Day number 2, George Springer. Over 1.5 bases of plus 135. And Springer looks locked in.
Stacks, 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 stacks.
Well, fellas, let's get to work. We're at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington, where the Mariners were 51-30 this year and got better and better as the season went on. The trade deadline was very successful for them. Do you have, TJ, do you have the Ballpark Pal up?
I do not.
I don't have it up either. I'll get it here. But let's take a look at, Switch not going to give it to me either.
I can imagine it's pretty typical for Seattle this time of year.
Yeah, it is cool, but I'm not even getting Switch up. So I'll go over to RotoWire, which is, God, you got to go to your third replacement here. Let's go to RotoWire MLB and see what we're dealing with. But let's set this one up here. Shane Bieber going up against George Kirby. I'm very high on George Kirby. I thought that his poor start was only going to help us get a better line every time he pitched. And I still, now everybody's seeing that he just missed training camp. That's all that happened, was he missed training camp. And so he got a slow start to the year, but he's pitching very well. I think we saw that in the ALDS. It's one thing when you pitch 5 innings of decent ALDS action in game 2. It's nothing when you come back in game 5 with everything on the line and you pitch even better. 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks. Did not walk a batter here. We have, they're saying that this roof is going to be closed today. And that makes sense. It's probably too cold. It's
kind of cold. It's in the 50s.
Now, we had a lot of 50s games with the roof open, and that was something Cabby and I would talk about all the time because he would say, no, it's still going to be open. But they have this as closed today here, which does make sense. Let's talk about Bieber. Bieber started in game 3 of the ALDS, and he did not look good. 2 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned, 2 strikeouts, 1 walk, and he was pulled in a 9-6 loss. On the road, in 3 starts, he looked excellent. 18 1/3. He allowed 8 earned runs. He allowed opponents at 169 against him, 19 strikeouts, 3 walks. He only allowed 11 hits and 8 earned runs. Those numbers don't work. 3 home runs in his 11 hits. It's not Bieber-esque. 3.57 ERA, 1.02 whip. And we know what his problem has been so far this year, and we don't remember it ever being this big of an issue. It's righties are destroying him, and he's getting all lefties out. Righties hitting 297 with a 936 OPS against him. So that's a Rosarena. Cal Raleigh will hit from the right-hand side. Julio Rodriguez. So your first 3 are righties, and then Polanco hit from the right-hand side. So the only issue is Naylor and Crawford. I don't think Canzone will be the DH today. I think they'll want another right-handed bat in there and maybe make a move halfway through. For Kirby, he has been excellent, and lefties hit him harder than righties. And we have Lucas, Barger, Varsho I don't know if Santander will be in the lineup, but if he is, there's a switch. He'll hit from left-hand side, and then Jimenez, a lefty as well. Irish King on Seattle -1.5. Sportsman of the Year on the Jays money line, and Springer over 1.5 hits at +205. Down the stretch, the Jays were hitting righties very hard, but not even close to as hard as, well, not even close a little much, but not as hard as the Mariners. Mariners down the stretch, 262, 818 OPS versus righties. They were slamming them. And bullpen-wise, too, you have the Mariners with the advantage, 3.12 ERA, 1.10 whip. So let's take a look at the cash flow and the line history here for this one and hear what our experts' plan of attack is. This total is a 7. It's -125 to the over. It opened up -105 to the over. I see 7.5s on the board now. They are plus money on the over and, -125 at least on the under. But here we have a 20-cent move towards the over. I think that when I saw the roof open for game 2, I was shocked. They wouldn't do that for us in 2016 under similar conditions, but they did it here, and the ball was flying. Everybody saw how many runs were scored. I don't know if that's going to happen here again, and this is making me interested to bet against it, but do I want to go up against a market move this strong? The Jays open up at +122. They got down to +113. They're now at +115, so 7 cents of movement towards the Toronto Blue Jays. That movement comes with, get this cash up here. Sorry, I thought I had it up, but I still got football up here. This movement comes to the Toronto Blue Jays, and it's not a huge move, but it's a legitimate move. And you would have to think that this lineup, this opening line was smaller than anyone would expect for Seattle, with 56% of tickets and 77% of the cash on the Toronto Blue Jays. Big bets coming in on the Blue Jays. 65% of tickets on the under and 64% of cash on the over. So here we go. TJ, take it away. Our first game on the board, Jays Mariners.
Well, I'll start off by saying I was dead wrong on the series here. I've been pretty hot hitting my series bets for the whole playoffs, but I was on Toronto in this spot, just riding that momentum home field. But yeah, it's looking pretty rough as a Toronto backer for you guys here. And to me, the biggest advantage in this game, there's two. I think there's a big starting pitching advantage for Seattle, and I think the lineup for Seattle is the better lineup going against righties right now, especially the way Bieber's struggling with righties and the way they can load that up, those top 4. You only have to worry about, like you said, Crawford, Naylor, and they probably use someone else in that DH spot. But looking at the advanced numbers here, if you look just straight at ERA, straight off the hop, it looks like, Bieber's got a 3.57, Kirby's 4.21. But, you guys know I'm big on the expected numbers, and Bieber's expected ERA is a whole point over his actual, while Kirby is a half run under his actual. And we saw Kirby come on late, like you said, missing training camp. I can that first month I can ignore pretty much what he's done and just look at what the guy did in that 15-inning game, coming in 5 innings, only had to throw like 61 or 62 pitches, 1 hit, got the win, and then the team won there. The guy's balling out, and this is the biggest start of his career. I trust that he's going to show up here. I am concerned about, I think momentum is very important in baseball. And to me, this just is a spot I want to be on. I want to take advantage of those first those two looks. Bullpen wise, I know that the Jays have been used quite a bit in this series, so Seattle has seen them. But if you look at kind of their overall numbers, especially over the last 30 days, last 45 days, I don't think Seattle has a huge advantage there. Clearly, they're a little bit better, but for me, I'm going to put my money just on the first 5 here, and I'm going to back Kirby. I'm going to be, it's a little bit more expensive than the full game, so I like to see that. But, a little concerned about bigger bets coming in Toronto. I think some of that is just a lot of times 2-0. We'll especially see it if it's 3-0. People want to back the team to come back and get one in. So I am just my only bet today so far. I'm also thinking about a first 5 team total over for Seattle. But the only thing officially right now is Seattle first 5 money line for me.
And I have no price difference first 5 at 365. How big is the price difference in other books?
6-7 cents.
I expected to see a price difference. So what was the move? Mariners first 5?
Mariners first 5, yeah. Minus 130.
Mariners first 5 at minus 130 here for I'm surprised because we're not finding a better line out there than what 365 is offering. Maybe that's because Canadians predominantly hammer this book. It's the main book for Canadians, so maybe they're just taking a ton of Blue Jays action. Let's hear from Wine Time Sports. Blue Jays Mariners, T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. Take it away.
Yeah, this series is going a little bit differently than I imagined going into this. I was definitely on Blue Jays to take this series, not officially or anything like that, but this was a team I wanted to back pretty much every single game in this series, and I thought I would come out on top. Being the underdogs here, being down 2-0, you got Shane Bieber on the mound here heading to Seattle. They've had these last 2 games at home. It seems like the Mariners have kind of just taken their souls with the bats, especially in the last game, scoring 10 runs here. Shout out to my guy Spoon's Bets right there. Good luck to you as well. But as far as this game goes, I don't really see too much difference on the first 5 in full game. I'm seeing Seattle minus 126 and then the first 5 minus 130 for Seattle. Pretty much the Blue Jays plus 115 and then plus 110 on the first 5. I'm looking at something a little bit different here, though, guys. I'm not even going to move on a side in this game. I'm going to move on this total, and I'm going to do it in a couple different ways. And I know it's expensive, but we like it when it's expensive like this. So this is what I'm going to do here. I'm just trying to find the best line I can available. I'm going to be on the over here. I'm still seeing 7s across the board at all my books right now. Like I said, it is juiced, but I like the juice on this one. And I'm also looking at this over first 5, 3.5 here. Again, juicy, guys. I'm looking at a minus 120 right now, minus 125. So pretty much minus 125 for both of these overs here. I see both these pitchers going out there and kind of getting touched up a little bit here. I think the Blue Jays know that. I mean, they got to score some runs here if they want to win a ball game. Not saying that they are going to win this game. I do lean for them on a side, but I think the Blue Jays know it's now or never. If they lose this game, it's over. You're not going to come back from 3-0. Just not going to happen. It starts right here, and I think you're going to give their best effort on offense here. Pitching-wise, Shane Bieber, his outs right now are at 14.5 I'm seeing, so they're not even really expecting him to go past 5 innings here. And I don't see that either. I see him getting touched up a little bit, and I also see George Kirby getting touched up a little bit here, especially early on. I think these lineups are going to come out swinging here. You mentioned it, what the Mariners did around the All-Star break, did what pretty much every team should have done, and that make their roster compete for a World Series. And that's what they're doing right now. Going into the season, you guys heard me say I thought this was a fraudulent lineup. I don't like when your best hitter in the lineup is Julio Rodriguez. We know who the best hitter in the lineup is now. But with that being said, I just didn't think this team was deep enough. What they do, they grab Gino Suarez, they grab Naylor, and Suarez hasn't been himself in a Mariners uniform, but he still is a good presence, and he's got a really good glove over there at third base as well. Both teams, these are 2 teams that, if you look at their batting orders, I like both these teams, and I think both these teams are going to be able to score and score at will. I think this is going to go way over 7 runs. I think that this should probably be at least an 8 right now, and I think it's going to probably get into double-digit runs here because I think the Blue Jays are going to give everything they can to stay in this series. So give me the over 7 minus 125 and the over 3.5 minus 125. I'm just moving on overs in both these spots. I'm doubling up here.
So let me ask.
I'm gonna go ahead and add the Mariners team total over first 5. It's minus 140. I see minus 160s, but DraftKings throwing a minus 140.
Before I do actually press the button on this, Jim, can you read me off the market one more time in this one?
Yes. Yes, I can. We have 65% of tickets on the under and 64% of cash on the over. So bigger bets are coming in over. I think that should, be comforting here for you.
I like that. Yeah, I'm going to press the button right now. I'm going to go ahead and press it on my books. Got to put it at a couple different spots right now, and then I'm going to tweet it out. Love this spot. I think there's going to be runs in this game today.
So let me grab the team total over, first 5 team total over here, and then I have a question for both of you guys before we move into college football. We also have Jose Bouquet setting up, so he'll be with us here shortly. What is the number that you got, TJ?
Over 1.5 minus 140.
Over 1.5 at minus 140. Yeah. So before we move on, and I don't think this is that simple of an answer, but I can understand the answer from both sides. So we'll start with you one time. Which baseball team is under more pressure in this situation? The Toronto Blue Jays, who are down 2-0 and head to Seattle, and everyone has given up on them, or the Seattle Mariners, who are up 2-0, coming home and have never played in a World Series. These two teams were expansion brothers. And
Oh,
they've
it's
never
much
played.
more pressure is on the Seattle Mariners here, Jim. It's not even close. I mean, you're going back at home up 2-0. I mean, what are the Blue Jays? They just got to go out there and play their brand of baseball and just get back in the win column here. I definitely think that they are the side for this full game, because I think they have too much heart in that dugout, too much life in that dugout. And these guys really have came together in that second half of the season, playing some really good baseball, man, some of the best baseball we've seen. Both these teams, though, these are two teams that definitely deserve to be here. I mean, probably a month and a half ago, I was saying the Mariners do not deserve to make the playoffs. Now I'm saying, yeah, they're very worthy of a World Series team, but the pressure is on Seattle Mariners, in my opinion, here, because you're up 2-0 series. What can go wrong? I mean, you lose 2 games at home, then go back to Toronto. You know what I mean? Like that, it very well could happen. So I do think the pressure is on for Seattle.
TJ, your answer to that question.
I tend to go the other way here. I'm kind of with BJ. I think you had a team that was favored that just dropped 2 at home. This is a must win for them because you got 3 games in a row in Seattle. They don't win this game, it's over for them. And I think the pressure's totally on them, squeezing the bats after the performance in their first 2 games. We're talking about a team here in Seattle that's 53-31 at home. I mean, they're back in a comfortable spot, up 2-0. I think they could have easily, if they were down 0-2, I would totally flip. But yeah, I know the team's never won a World Series. I don't think that weighs super heavy on the actual players. I think that's more like a fan type of pressure than the players on this team now. Just because it's not like they all grew up Seattle Mariners fans, you know, that'd be a little different. But yeah, to me, I think the Blue Jays are going to be squeezing the bats, and they're facing a guy that can take advantage of that. So I would say the pressure is fully on the Jays. Now, I mean, of course, both teams are under pressure. It's the ALCS. You know, I could see the argument either way. But I agree. Kind of Mariners are sort of playing with house money here, and you know, winning 2 out of 3 at home is very reasonable.
So then, TJ, the final question here is: you are putting onus on Bieber's inability, and I talked about it, like I set it up so that you know, but on Bieber's inability to get right-handed bats out in 42 innings. 2023, his last, you know, legitimate season, he had 128 innings here. He shut down all right-handed bats. Right-handed bats couldn't touch him. 592 OPS. Lefties got to him. When you go through his seasons, he gets right-handers out. This has never been an issue. You don't see a right-handed OPS over 630. You go to the best years of his career. I mean, it's all, look at every single OPS. Here's another one in 2021, the OPS 588. I mean, every year he's been able to get righties out. Here, the year he had that. Remember, he got hurt, but he was 8-1 with a 1.63 ERA through 12 starts. Righties hit 181 with a 565 OPS. Are we putting too much into 42 innings against right-handed batting, which he's never had a problem with before? Or are you a different pitcher when you come back from Tommy John, and we should just believe the numbers that you are delivering?
Well, I think, yeah, 42 isn't big. Obviously, they're going to be a little inflated. But yeah, that's, to me, missing a year. Tommy John, I mean, what's the spin rate? What's his arm angle? How did his pitches? I think it's deeper than just looking at what did he do in the past, because all of those things affect the way a righty or a lefty sees the ball. And it's got to change after Tommy John. There's no way he's throwing exactly the same he was before. But yeah, I think, yeah, sure. We're probably putting a little bit too much into that. But for me, it's not even necessarily just Bieber splits righty lefty. It's the way that Seattle's handled righties for a while now. You know, this isn't an easy team to face, whether you're giving it up to righties or lefties.
TJ on the Mariners first 5 minus 130. Mariners first 5 team total over 1.5 minus 140. Wine time on the over 7 and the first 5 over 3.5. And BJ says, mind you, the Mariners playing 15 innings of baseball and Toronto couldn't blow them out in game 1. I think it always is advantageous to the team that played 15 innings because they're in playoff mode. They're in pressure mode. They're in business mode. I always want to back the team because I always you'll hear, oh, their bullpen's exhausted. Everybody says the same story, and the team that's in playoff mode wins. So that was not a big surprise here with this one. Perky giving you a lot of love here, as Charlie Charms in the chat. Why not? Perky giving you a lot of love, man.
You know who that it's Cheshire Cat. He said it's Cheshire. I got blocked. I was like, shout out to my guy though. I appreciate the love, but don't I hope I don't lose these games for you, my guy. You overhyped me, right?
I hope you don't too.
It's, yeah, I know who it is.
But hey, great season, guys. I mean, I'm sure I'll probably be able to pop on for one World Series game or two, but man, we've had some good times capping together this year.
Yes,
it's been very fun, and I see you, TJ, on Mariners first five and Mariners first five team total over 1.5. If you had the opportunity to move on the total, would it be over 7?
Yeah, I think so. Not very confidently, but I'd rather take an over 7 than an under 7.5.
All right. Now, obviously, it's as if I have futures, just because it's the Blue Jays and the I mean, these are my two favorite teams, and so I'm just not seeing things clearly, and I prefer to just listen to you guys, and you guys be the experts here. TJ on the Mariners first five and the Mariners first five team total over 1.5. Wine time on the over 7 and the first 5 over 3.5. You guys are in business. Wine time going to stick with me for NCAA football, but we will lose TJ now. TJ, thank you for all that you've done here, my man. Looking forward to cap the World Series with you, and let us know if you can join us Thursday or Friday as well, buddy.
I will. Take care, guys.
There he is, our guy, TJ, in the house. All right, let's move on to college football. Jose will be with us shortly, and we'll be able to talk what his plan is for Game 3 of the ALCS. We move on. 7 p.m. Eastern is our... Oh, and I guess Jose is... I'm not sure if he's able to do this. So there we go. We move on to college football here. Tonight's games, Wednesday, October 15th. Delaware Blue Hens 3-2, 1-1 in Conference USA at the Jacksonville State Gamecocks 3-3, 2-0 in conference. We're at Amherst Stadium, Jacksonville, Alabama. 73 Fahrenheit, clear, 1 mile per hour winds. Let's get into the line history and the cash flow for this one. Delaware, Jacksonville State. We could use the money line because both are pretty tight lines. Why don't we use both? First off, Delaware right now opening up at minus 130, now up to minus 148. So 18 cents of movement on Delaware on the money line. On the total here, we have this total opening up at 57. It's now a 57.5, 57 down to 56.5, up to 58. We have the 57.5 sitting here right now, a half-point move towards the over. Take a look at the cash flow for this spot as well. Sorry, give me 1 second here. Get back to college football. And here we go. Let's take a look at the cash flow for Delaware, Jacksonville State. Thursday, we were here capping Conference USA, capping these teams, and we went 6-0. Let's see what we do here today. 61% of the tickets and 69% of the cash is on Jacksonville State. 61 and 69 on Jacksonville State. 57% of tickets on the under and 87% of cash on the over. So we took a look at the 18 cents of movement on the money line. Let's just take a look at the point spread here. So this opened up, interestingly enough, the spread opened up way before the money line, which is the reason why we should probably just focus on spreads. Opened up as a pick'em. That was 3 days ago. And it's just moved towards Delaware. Delaware now -3 and -105. That's a big move. JW on them at -2.5 here. BJ says market says Delaware. The situation says Delaware. Delaware comes in off their bye week. Last seen in a 27-24 home loss to Western Kentucky's 2.5-point favorites. But they outgained them 435 to 338. They had 11 more first downs. And we know that this Blue Hens team, this Ryan Carty's Blue Hens team, is ineligible to play for the Conference USA title, but they certainly seem like a team that's capable of being an issue. We've also seen them with big wins. They beat UConn 44-41. They beat FIU 38-16. They lose Zach Marker to an injury right away. And who comes in? The choo-choo train, man. Minakuchi. This guy's being So good. Shockingly good. And he's a dual threat. Jacksonville State comes in here, Charles Kelly's squad. He had 5 starters returning to this team. 5 starters that won the Conference USA title last year under Rich Rodriguez. Kelly's done a great job. They came out of their bye week with a 29-27 victory at Sam Houston State last Thursday, 7.5-point favorites. They are 2-0 at home this year, and that includes a 34-24 win over Liberty at 6.5-point dogs. It was an impressive win. This will come down, I think, to X's and O's. Yes, the market is telling us that Delaware is the bet. Delaware is coming off of the bye. I do think this comes down to X's and O's. And it all comes down to the running game. And so we know that Jacksonville runs all day long. They're 3rd in the nation, 279.5 yards. Even in that game there, they didn't cover against Sam Houston. They ran for 370 yards. Against Liberty in that spot at 6.5 dogs, they ran for 338 yards. We've talked about Cam Cook. We talked about Cam Cook last week, the TCU transfer, and what a beast he is. Caden Creel took over for Gavin Wimsatt, and he is a running quarterback. So what do the Blue Hens do with their rush defense? Well, they're okay. They have a middling rush defense. They average 4.5 yards a carry against them. They allow 154.6 rushing yards a game. Delaware State put 200 on them. UConn put 175 on them. And then the Blue Hens, on the other side of things, now they're only ranked 6th in Conference USA in rushing offense, but the Gamecocks have a terrible rush defense, a horrible rush defense. So the Blue Hens should be able to gank them on the ground. We know that Jacksonville State will be doing the running. The reason why we wanted the over in Jacksonville State, Sam Houston State, was only because we thought Sam Houston State was going to be able to put up points. In fact, we were lucky to get to that over because Sam Houston State's issue is their secondary is horrific, and the Jacksonville State Gamecocks can't hurt you that way. They only hurt you on the ground. The X's and O's probably didn't set up right. Now, we were just so bullish. I should just be on Sam Houston team total over instead of the full game over. But we got there. We got lucky to get there. We got a field goal with no time left and a long one, too. So take it away for us here. Wine time. Delaware Blue Hens, Jacksonville State Gamecocks, and Jacksonville, Alabama. I think you're muted, my man.
Apologies for that.
No.
You said it already, Jim. Jacksonville State going with the true freshman, I believe he is, or he's a redshirt freshman because Gavin Wimsatt got injured a couple games ago. He's a redshirt sophomore. Apologies, Caden Creel. This kid could run with it. Both these quarterbacks, I mean, it seems like all 3 of their quarterbacks are run-first quarterbacks. Goes with their offense. I mean, Cam Cook, you mentioned it, from TCU. This guy's tearing it up. I mean, he played at TCU. He was the backup there. I mean, he got some good time there and then comes over to Jacksonville State, is the number 1 guy, is the bell cow over there. He's averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. He's got 7 touchdowns on the ground. He's got 13 catches for 140 yards as well. Does have 2 fumbles this season, so he's got to clean that up a little bit. But this team likes to run the football. There's no secret to that. You got Delaware on the other hand, Nick McCucci over here. The guy can sling it, man. He's passionate. It seems like he's going over his yards prop in every single game. Can really make all the throws on the field. He's got the transfer Jake Thaw from Michigan, 6'2", 190 at the slot wide receiver position. Didn't play a ton at Michigan, came over to Delaware to play some football in his last collegiate year. I think this guy's like a 6-year guy. You also got Sean Wilson and Kyrie Duplessis over there as well. Duplessis is a transfer from Coastal Carolina. He's had a good year. Then you got Joe Silver, the redshirt junior running back. This guy is having a good season too, and he also catches the ball in the backfield. He's got nearly 15 catches this season as well. This is a tricky game here. From an X's and O's standpoint, I think this line is priced appropriately now here at 3, but I do think Delaware is the better team. We were all in Sam Houston State last week. They got the cover. They probably should have gotten the win. I think this Jacksonville State team really got lucky with that game by getting out of there with a win. I think Sam Houston probably should have won that game, it seemed like. Charles Kelly taking over for Rich Rod. 2-0 in the conference so far, so he's got a good start. We'll see if this crowd's rocking and rolling out there. It's going to be 24,000 people at JSU Stadium in Jacksonville, Alabama. I don't have a play in this as of right now, but I wanted to move on Delaware just simply from the market, looking at the market and seeing it just slowly move towards Delaware right now. Coming into Conference USA this season, this is a good program for the last couple of years. They've really built something over there. Ryan Carty's done a good job with this program with the minimal resources that they have. Being able to bring guys from Power 4 conferences over to Delaware itself is a pretty big deal. I lean Delaware on the -3 here. The money line right now is just too expensive at -150 from what I'm seeing pretty much across the board right now. Just want to double check. But yeah, -145 to -150. Could have got a better number earlier on the week. It's a weekday game here. I have nothing in this game as of right now, but I do want to move on Delaware, and I was curious to see what you and Jose have to say about this. And I think our guy Jose is actually backstage ready to rock and roll.
Yes, let's bring him on right now. And BJ saying, fading the public dog. I certainly agree with the sentiment here. And I'm going to pull up a couple different sites. The only problem I have is, yes, Delaware coming off of a bye, and they outplayed Western Kentucky. I mean, that when I started, but the problem is everybody thinks that Sam Houston State is the worst team in FBS, and everybody just watched Sam Houston State almost beat Jacksonville State. So that's my problem. Yeah. Is that everybody is like, well, oh God, this trash team almost lost to the worst team in FBS. I'm not going to fade them. And we've seen that things are different in Jacksonville, Alabama. They beat Liberty as 6-9-point dogs, beat them by 10 at home.
Yeah.
So I think because of the optics, I don't think I'm going to be on Delaware here. And in fact, I'm kind of moving towards the under, because both teams know we are going to run the ball down our opponent's throats. And so let's hear from Jose, fresh off spectacular work last week. Please welcome Jose to the show.
Jesus.
Jose, how are you, buddy?
He's got
good. I have to reframe myself and include a little bit of my head into the frame here soon. But we're doing well. We're doing well.
So, Jose, I get what everybody is talking about here. I understand why they're backing Delaware, but I understand the optics that are sort of creating it, which has me hesitant here. What is your plan of attack?
Yeah, I'm thinking more in my head a little bit. I'm worrying about 6-0 too much, and like, oh, I can't take my first loss, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, at first I was a little hesitant to bet any of these games. And, I want to, in my head, I was like, okay, I should bet the games that I just feel very confident in. But I think my whole college football project here is, the point of it in my head is to raise my arms up and give myself up to the market lords in college football and see how it goes. And the market, I think, is pretty clearly saying that Delaware is the side today. We have, where is it now? 61% of the bet, 69% of the money on Jacksonville State. Opens up at a pick'em earlier this week. Oh, there goes my phone. It opens up at a pick'em earlier this week, and we've gone to now -3 Delaware. Delaware, shockingly enough, the only little bit of X's and O's I have on Delaware is that they beat the shit out of a UConn team. They didn't beat the shit out of them, but they beat a UConn team earlier this year, and this is their first year in the FBS. How I know that? One of my friends coaches UConn's defensive lines, and he was fucking sick after that game. He was like, I fucking suck. God damn it. Blah, 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 blah. And so I think Delaware is not too bad. Their quarterback, not too bad as well. So I will take Delaware. I'm going to be safe where I need to hit the button. I need to hit the button for, where is it? Transparency and accountability sake. If I didn't play this and Pete got wind of it, he'd be pissed.
Oh, yeah. Uh-oh. Huh?
I'll take the money line -150.
Okay.
I considered parlaying it as well, but I'm trying to keep it clean.
The reason why I'm not certain about the situation is because Delaware is clearly the better football team from what we've seen over the last few weeks. We just watched Jacksonville State almost lose to the worst team in all of FBS. So you guys are focused on the 3-point move towards Delaware Blue Hens, which probably should have been the opening line. Opening up at a pick'em would have got money on the Blue Hens that wouldn't have probably arrived. We have only seen Jacksonville State on the road. So we've seen these losses. Georgia Southern's a tough place to play. Southern Miss is a really good football team. And then Sam Houston State, off of a bye, they clearly weren't focused, playing the worst team in the conference. We've seen them only twice at home, and they've looked like a different football team. They played 2 games at home. Now, one was against Murray State. 2 games at home, and that was with Wimsat as well. They want to have Creel at quarterback. At home in 2 games, they've outscored their opposition 79-34. So I'm not saying that you guys I just don't feel comfortable with the opening line. I don't feel comfortable with the optics. I don't like, and at this point, yes, we see that it's 61-69 on Jacksonville State. I'm curious to see that if that changes. If it changes, then will the line change with it? Because the whole thing, I think something's up. That's all. So I'm going to be on the under 57.5.
Can you read me off the market for the total again, Jim?
Yes. Yes. We have 60% of tickets on the under and 87% of cash on the over.
Wow.
And, Jacksonville's put up a ton of points here, but I'm not, Delaware off the bye. Delaware's had all this time to prepare here. So with all that being said, you guys are probably right. I'm going to study this longer. We have Rogue Energy here on Jacksonville State +3. Ron Crawford on Jacksonville State +3. I can understand why you guys are on Delaware. And I mean, for all this money on the over, of course, all the overs cashed the last time we were with Conference USA. Well, only the late ones that we were on. I guess they weren't all over. But I'm just a little hesitant. And then let me sign into Action here because I guess my account's not signed in. So let me just log in and then I can see the Action numbers. Let's see. I mean, they're probably similar to what we're dealing with. So let's just find out here.
I've got 49% of tickets and 86% of cash on Delaware on the Action Network, and then 34% of tickets. 39% of tickets and 47% of cash on the over.
Wow, yeah, 49% of tickets and 86% of cash on Delaware. Well, that makes sense to me. BJ says that he's giving himself up to the market lords. All that money and it's going the other way. But what do you mean all that money? We just have a site that's telling us now that 86% of the money is on Delaware.
Yeah, it just has to. That's a case of what do you have to believe? What side do you believe and all that good stuff. And obviously, they're 2 different books. But that's concerning for me, obviously.
And then you get to the money line, and you have 66% of the money line tickets on Delaware, but just 42% of the cash. So, look, again, I'm not sitting here saying I'm going to bet Jacksonville State. But my plan was to be with you guys on Delaware, and it's no longer my plan. That's all.
I'm staying away as well.
I will cheer you guys on. I do, though, have a lot of interest in this under. I do have a lot of interest in this under, so we'll see how it bangs out. BJ says he just looks at odds logic and circuit for moves. That's completely legitimate. Matty Ice on the under 57 from Jacksonville State at +3. And the line for the Mariners just dropped 4 cents streak. Look, I have action from family members that they've and I'm going to send it in on the Blue Jays. I'm not going to not put it in. But I don't, at this point, I have no action in that game.
Carter getting in some bets?
Sorry, my man?
Carter getting in some bets on the Blue Jays?
No, not Carter. He knows better. He's worried sick.
Sure. I'm sure Ella is too. Yeah. Shout out to them.
Let's move on, though. Jose is on Delaware. I'm very, very interested in the under 57.5. I also think that I should probably just bet this. We're not going to have a long show today, but I don't want this to drop to 57 and kind of be right and have this screw me. Rogue Energy says Jays money line. Thank me later. Let's roll on to game 2. Our guy, Toby Lane, is extremely sharp, and he thinks Sam Houston Bearcats are the best bet on the board. Now, we do know here that they are playing at a soccer complex an hour away from the stadium or from the campus.
Nice.
So home field advantages doesn't exist. But look, we just cashed with them in their last home game, and here they are again. Let's go over the line history here for this one. This total is a 47.5. Opened up 46.5, got up 47.5, dropped to 46, and then there was just a big move this morning, a 1.5 point move to the over. Very big, legitimate move. On the point spread here, we have UTEP -3. They opened up at -2.5. That 2.5 got more and more juiced, and now we've hit a 3. Since we've got to 3, it feels like Sam Houston money is coming in. So that's the situation there. We get to the cash flow here. We'll take a look at 2 different sites for cash flow. But the first one here says 57% of the tickets, 60% of cash on Sam Houston State, 71% of tickets on the under, and 92% of cash on the under. And it just made a 1.5 move to the over. Wow. I just want to take a little note of that here. That's pretty big. JW says UTEP favorite. Are you kidding me? But Rogue Energy is on UTEP -3 and the over 47.5. So we looked at the one site for cash flow. Let's take a look at the second one here. This one has on the money line 67% of tickets, 76% of the cash on UTEP. Lines moving slightly in their direction. On the spread, 49% of tickets and 44% cash on UTEP. Now, Toby's angle with UTEP is that they've given up. And they're coming off 4 straight losses. 19-8 at home to Liberty last week as 1.5 point dogs, and they were down 19-0.
They looked bad. I watched that game. It was one of the worst games you could ever watch.
Malachi Nelson. So here is the issue. Now, do we have any interviews of Malachi Nelson checking out?
I do not know. I don't think that they have that up for UTEP, but I know Skylar Loxley was the guy that ended up starting last week, and it was kind of a shocker because I thought they were going to give Malachi one more start. Malachi did end up coming in later in the game because they just simply couldn't score. Skylar did. He is a lot better on the ground. You'd think Malachi Nelson's a better athlete. He was a great athlete in high school, 6'3", 195. He can move, but he's just not showing it. And he doesn't look confident out there as a quarterback. I don't think he's been confident since his senior year in high school when he was thrown to the first-round draft pick this year in Mekhi Lemon, because he just doesn't have those kind of weapons at his disposal at this point. There's a reason why he went to Boise and lost the starting job. There's a reason why he's at UTEP right now and end up getting beat out by the Austin P transfer. You know what I mean? Like, this guy he just seems unconfident out there throwing the football. It wasn't a good spot. I don't think this was a right offense for him to get into. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with him, but I mean, he's got to show some kind of pride if he wants to continue to play college football. You know what I mean? I don't know what school's going to take him at this point. So that's interesting too.
Do we expect Malachi Nelson to be under center tonight? I do. Am I wrong?
If I was the head coach there, you kind of have to. You're 1-5 right now. You kind of have to throw all your chips in the basket with him. I feel like he's a former 5-star guy. You got him to come to UTEP as the biggest recruit UTEP has ever gotten, or biggest transfer guy that they've ever gotten. So I think he'll be under center, yes.
So here is the X's and O's side of things here. And I can get away from it. The Bearcats have by far the worst passing defense in the country. So they just played Jacksonville State, who can't throw the ball. 5 starters returned. They're a mess. They couldn't throw the ball. So they barely got past Sam Houston State because all they were going to do is run the ball. Sam Houston State just loaded the box. It was pretty simple football, and Sam Houston State almost won. Malachi Nelson went up against UL Monroe earlier this year. UL Monroe has a really bad secondary. Not as bad as Sam Houston, but very bad, very weak. And what happened? Malachi Nelson threw for 400 yards. Now, I understand why everybody doesn't want anything to do with UTEP. I get it. And with UTEP's passing game, they've still thrown 12 interceptions and looked terrible. We knew that this was going to be a horrible year for Sam Houston. Keeler goes to Temple. They have real problems. And even Jacksonville State had season highs in yards per attempt against the Bearcats, even though they can't throw the ball. 13 of 17 for 129 yards. Now, that's not much. And Sam Houston's offense did look better last week. They're still converting 18% of third downs. So, I want to hear from you guys here. This is obviously, I think the optics benefit Sam Houston. We just watched them almost beat Jacksonville State, and now they have a second straight home game against a UTEP team that looked horrific. So let's hear from Wine Time. Wine Time, take it away.
I know no one's going to like to hear this, but I think UTEP, I would only move on UTEP, I think, in this spot. I think that they have the better team. They've got the best player on the field in Malachi Nelson. If he can at least play decent against a Sam Houston team that, we were all on him last week against Jacksonville State. They cashed the +7. Probably should have won the game outright. Everything besides that kind of worries me. I mean, the New Mexico State's not a good team, but same time, UTEP, coming off the loss to Liberty, I was on UTEP on that. I don't think I ended up giving it out officially, but I was on them in that spot, and they came out cold. And I think it started with Skyler coming in and starting at quarterback, just really couldn't get anything going. Their defense isn't awful. They're not giving up a lot of points a game, really. I think that this is honestly an under spot too. It's just, what did this line open up at, Jim? What do you have this? Did this open up at a 46?
It even got down to a 45.5. The thing is that about 3 hours ago, it moved from 46 all the way up to 47.5.
Yeah, that's the problem, because I wanted to be on this under here. But the fact that it's moving up maybe makes me think that Malachi is going to start. And maybe this is a secondary that we saw him have that good performance. You touched on it, the 400-yard game. Maybe he has one of those here. This isn't going to be a hostile environment. The crowd isn't going to be involved in this game. So at the same time, they haven't really played in any. They did play at Texas, which is a very hostile environment. But I think that they're going to go out there and it's going to be kind of like a backyard high school football game, honestly, especially where they're going to be playing and this crowd won't be involved. I think UTEP is the play, and I think the under is the play. But at the same time, now that's moving towards the over, I'll move away from the total. I think I'm going to be on UTEP here. I'm pretty close to it. I just want to see. Best number I can get right now is I can get a -3 at +100. I wonder what I can get a 2.5 at right now. Maybe a -120.
This is the whole issue. Oh, Kent Davies, what's up, my man? Great to see you. Ottawa and Florida -1. Respect. Toby Lane has using the DeBoer, putting in DeSmith instead of Ottinger in the playoffs. Says Ottinger then quit on his coach and the team as well. He says that he believes this is a similar situation. Malachi Nelson gets pulled. He's going to give up. This is all about Malachi Nelson, because if he's angry and wants to prove something, he can throw for 400 yards here against the worst secondary in the entire FBS. So how can we get that information? That's the whole key to this bet.
Yeah. I remember watching the game against Liberty. I was watching the broadcast and they were like, oh, Skyler's coming out. He's starting the game at quarterback. It was a shock. No one knew that they were going to bench Nelson. He ended up coming in, I think, at some point in the game. I'm not sure if it was the second half or not, but this has to be him going out there and starting. What does this team have to lose at this point? And I think that he can throw. The guy's got an arm. He's got an arm for sure. He's got a cannon. We've seen it before, but he's got to show it here. And this is, you mentioned, one of the worst secondaries right here. Why can't he go out there and torch this secondary? I feel like I will be on UTEP in some sort of way here.
Jay W says Malachi Nelson called the homies in Vegas, told him the bet is unders. I think this is all the key, and I need to dive in and figure this out. Jose Bouquet, UTEP, Sam Houston, Shell Energy Stadium in Houston, Texas. Take it away.
Yeah, I didn't move on this game, but this was the other side of the parlay that I was going to do. I was thinking UTEP as well. Kind of the same, market-based situation. 56% of the bets, 58% of the money on Sam Houston, point half point move to UTEP. But I was okay. I didn't want to really like muck up the college football record with a parlay in there, so I just stuck with just Delaware, and I stayed off this game. But gun to head, it'd probably be UTEP money line again. So I'd probably that was a parlay. Both money lines here, the favorites. Kind of square because it's both money lines of a favorite on the same day, but I think they both can go out there and win. And I was like, why the fuck do I have such vivid memories of Sam Houston? And I was so mad at them, but they covered for us. Yeah, the Sam Houston coaching staff is horrific. Giving up that loss was terrible. They should have won that game, but I don't want to fade, or I don't want to back a team that probably played their best game, even though the coaches fucked them there. I'd rather be fading Sam Houston, a bad team. So I'd rather be on UTEP.
Does Malachi Nelson have social media that he's on or anything?
When you asked me to look it up, I was looking for some interviews. I couldn't find one besides 6 months ago when he committed to UTEP. But guys, I found a play in this. I might end up moving on UTEP, but this is something pretty interesting here. Their team total's 24.5 right now, minus 115. I mean, when was the last time they scored 25 points? It was against ULM a couple weeks ago. I believe that's the only game they have scored that many points here. Coming off scoring just 8 points, and it was, if you watch that game, guys, it was one of the worst offensive showings you could possibly see in college football. Like, watching that offense was just disgusting. And yet we're getting this total here. I'm going to move on to team total here. A lot of these weekday games, I usually just throw a half unit on it if I don't put as much time as I do into my the bigger games of the week. But this is something I'm going to throw a full unit on. Team total over 24.5. It is minus 115, actually. I'm seeing some 25s too right now at plus money, but I'm going to move on this 24.5 at minus 115. Official play for me today, guys. Wanted to get involved in this somehow, and I just found it.
UTEP team total over 24.5 at minus 110.
115,
115.
Sorry. Yeah.
Well, I can't bet this until I know what the hell's going on. So I'm going to be trying to figure that out this afternoon. If I know that Malachi Nelson, if I can just get a tiny sense of him, he's starting, he's ready to go, because he can throw for 400 easily against.
Let me dig a little bit more into this, Jimmy, throughout the day, and I'll keep you posted on it too.
That would be great. That would be great. Wine time is on UTEP, team total over 24.5. And JW cashed with the Bearcats. We cashed with the Bearcats. And I think this is a completely different situation with a team that's capable of airing it out. So Spooner found an interview with the head coach hinting at a 2-quarterback approach, but will do whatever gives them the best chance to win. Okay, so I'm going to be I cannot bet this game and not have Malachi Nelson go out there on the field and take advantage. Then if he's not starting, then we should hammer the under. The point and a half move to the over is Wine Time saying is possibly a hint that Malachi Nelson is starting and has, something to prove, and we'll try here. So we'll see. I'm going to move on the under 57.5 in Delaware, Jackson State. Troy saying that he believes Jackson State can stop the run. They're ranked 6th in Conference USA rushing offense. That's their rushing offense. Sorry, I have their defense. Sorry, they ranked 7th in Conference USA rush defense, allowing 4.5 yards a carry and 154.6 a game. Every single opponent has gone over 100 yards against them. That's not that big of a deal. So a lot to work on. That is our college football for tonight. And Jose Bouquet putting his 6-0 on the line on Delaware money line minus 150.
Doesn't feel good when you say it out loud, huh?
No, I get it. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I mean, Delaware coming off of the bye to stop a team that only runs. I mean, that's not hard, right? It's not hard. Jacksonville State's going to throw for 80 yards in this game.
Yeah, and if they get up 10-0 early, then we'll see. But I agree. I mean, I don't feel shitty about the bet, but it's not like one of the games we're talking about on this card, which I actually feel very confident in. So I'm excited.
Well, Jose, our first game for Saturday best bet. So why don't we wait for one time to come back, actually, and we'll set this up because we will be cutting this out. We will be cutting this.
Well, who knows when that will be, Jimmy? So
we will.
We might have to start with Adam.
Troy saying he's been subject to a 2-quarterback system before, and it is a disaster. It is a disaster.
I bet you, Troy, when you're in the locker room and your coach is like, we're just going to go with 2 quarterbacks. I bet you everyone's else like, what the fuck? Everyone else in that locker room must be pissed. No one feels good about that, I'm sure. So interesting.
Nutflush Allen says that Jacksonville State team total over is telling. So, okay. Why don't we get ready to set this bad boy up, move over to my Saturday.
And this is the bet, by the way, that I was referring to earlier that I feel, much, I guess, more confident in whatever, but I feel more confident about this one, obviously.
Well, let's set this up here. Let me just move over to the full college football odds slate. Let me find the cash flow here. Wine time back in business. Perfect. Okay. So let's roll here. Let's roll. Welcome to Saturday Best Bets in College Football with our guy, Wine Time Sports. We start at 12 p.m. Eastern with the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets 6-0, 3-0 in the ACC versus Duke Blue Devils 4-2, also 3-0 in the ACC. We're at Wallace Wade Stadium in Durham, North Carolina. The weather is something that must be kept an eye on because it is raining, and it's raining all morning, and it's supposed to stop raining just before game time. So that needs to be accounted for. So keep an eye on the weather. The winds are going to be double digits, 12 to 14 mile per hour. So keep an eye on whether or not the rain stops. It is important. When we get into the line history here for our first spot on the board, we have Duke at -1.5. Duke opened up at -2, got up to 2.5. And then on Monday, it moved towards Georgia Tech, and then it stopped. It stopped 5:30 p.m. Monday. We're sitting here with the 1.5. We're sitting here with a slight move towards the Yellow Jackets. When we get to the total here in this one popping off Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern, we have a 61. This opened up at 61.5. It has dropped a half point down to 61. Which is where it is right now, just a half-point move. When you get to the cash flow, we have 89% of the tickets and 95% of the cash on Georgia Tech. An alarming amount of money on Georgia Tech. You have 84% of tickets and 73% of cash on the under. Even that is an alarming amount of money on the under. We have Duke coming off their bye week. 2 road games. They win them both, dominate both Syracuse and Cal. Yes, the opponents may be weak, but they look very good. There were a lot of questions about this Blue Devil team after losing to Illinois badly at home and then losing at Tulane. Have they answered all those questions? It started with the home win over NC State, kept going with the Syracuse win. That was a dominant performance, 38-3, and then they beat Cal 45-21, and then they have their bye week. We have Georgia Tech coming off a 35-20 victory at home last week, and they have not had a lot of time here to get prepared for Duke and to get on the road. The last time we saw them on the road was an overtime victory, a very fortunate one, over Wake Forest as 11.5-point favorites. So here we go. Wine Time Sports, take it away for us. Yellow Jackets, Blue Devils.
Yeah, guys, everything lines up in this game for me. When you look at this from a market standpoint, from an X's and O standpoint, everything to me screams Duke to me. Listen, Georgia Tech, this is a good football team. I faded them last week. I was actually on the Virginia Tech, and we lost by the half point. Probably should have gotten the cover in that. It was a rough loss there, but listen, it starts with Hanks King at the top. This kid's a gamer. He goes out there. He puts his shoulder down on every single defender every time he runs the ball. He's one of the toughest quarterbacks I've seen in college football. He doesn't get enough recognition for that, I feel like. This is a front runner, I believe, in the ACC right now, Georgia Tech. I really think it's going to come down to them in Miami when it's all said and done. Can't count Duke quite yet. They took a tough loss against Tulane in the beginning of the season. took another rough loss at home to Illinois. We know Illinois is a good team this season. They've had a good season. That team is just so deep from top to finish. It just didn't seem like a Duke spot. This seems like a Duke spot here. Manny Diaz, guys, I kind of said it over the last couple of years. He's such a great defensive mind. I don't like him too much as a head coach, but man, is he proving me wrong here at a program like Duke? I get it. Duke has gotten some good NIL money these last couple of years, which is able to afford some of these players, guys like Darian Mensah, the transfer quarterback from his school, Tulane, 6'3", 210, and pay a lot of money to get this guy. Guys, this is a guy I remember when I capped Duke in the beginning of the season. I remember the name Cooper Barquette, right out of modern-day Newport Beach out of modern-day high school, right down the street. This kid was a 4-star guy coming out of high school, absolute nerd, and he ends up going to Harvard, gets his degree there, gets his graduate degree there. He's got a 6th year of eligibility. Where does he go? Duke, another prestigious school, wants to stay in, getting a good education, and he's dominating. This kid was one of the best receivers in the FC for that program over there in the Ivy League. Hasn't missed a beat, taking a big step up in competition. He's got 26 catches for nearly 500 yards, 4 touchdowns. He's averaging almost 20 yards a catch. This kid is really explosive with the football in his hands. I remember when him in high school, a lot of people were talking about hype and stuff. He was going to go to USC. USC offered him, didn't end up going there, took a different route, and it's worked out for him. But this is a good kid right here, good player. Then you look at, on the other side, Jamal Haynes, the running back for Georgia Tech. I mean, him and Haynes King, this is such a dynamic 1-2 punch from the quarterback running back position. In my opinion, it's probably one of the best, if not the best, quarterback to running back duos with the football in their hands, because these are tough guys. Jamal Haynes isn't the biggest running back either, but the way he's so patient, runs between those tackles, waits for his offensive line to open up holes, does really well in those situations. They got Malik Rutherford. Guy was a big recruit as well. I like everything this Georgia Tech team is doing, but I also like what Duke is doing. And I think Manny Diaz is building something special at Duke. I think Manny Diaz is in line for no one's talking about it, but I think he will be the head coach at Penn State next year. He was the D coordinator there before he got the head coaching job at Duke. He's not a Penn State guy. I believe he actually went to Miami and he was able to coach there, but we know what happened there. I think he'd be a good fit for Penn State. Really good defensive mind, and I think this team is going to be ready to play, especially at home here. It's going to be an early start, 9 a.m. for me. You know what I mean? It's the first game of the day. I like this running back, Nate Shepard, too. I forgot to mention this kid, true freshman, 4-star guy coming in. Duke was able to recruit their asses off and get some really good guys in the portal with this NIL money. But Nate Shepard, true freshman, is averaging 8 yards a carry right now. They also got the Appalachian State transfer and Anderson Castle. He's more of a bigger back. He's going to get those goal line touches when you just need a couple yards on the play. I'm on Duke, guys. I got them on them. I want to give out the official play really quick. I just don't have it right in front of me here. I believe it was the -3. It is, yes, it is. No, Duke -3. What am I talking about? It's a -1.5 right now. Got the money line, -120. Duke money line, -120. They take care of business. They pave a way for themselves to get involved in the ACC title game. As the season goes on, they're only going to get better. Watch out for Duke, guys. This team's going to be ranked by the end of the season.
It's just such a great spot for a 4-2 team against a 6-0 ranked team. All the money on the ranked team, and the home team's coming off of a bye. It's just, how do you not bet Duke? Jose Bouquet, I heard that you have moved on the same thing. Tell us why.
Yeah, Duke money line -125. You just mentioned it, a shitload of money on Georgia Tech. And I blindly kind of bet all of these unranked teams against a big ranked team if they're favored, especially. Give me Duke -125. Though I will admit, Wine Time, as a guy that was watching Miami growing up and watched the Manny Diaz era of Miami, if he goes to Penn State, I think that will be a damn disaster. But who knows? I mean, he obviously has gotten better as a head coach. So who am I to say? So I'm on him this week. Duke money line -125. I think Haynes King and the boys just struggled this week, so it'll be fun to watch.
And Gorky, my guy, because Georgia Tech's a good football team. You want me to say bad things about Georgia Tech? They've done nothing but win this year. But come on, you got to cap this game. There's always two sides of the story. I'm not going to just give a biased opinion on my side. I always got to break it down from both sides.
It is a fascinating game. I've never seen I've never seen, but this is as blatant as anything I've seen. I mean, how could a book be taking $9.5 of every 10 on one side and just sitting back and doing nothing about it? It's just, and then you hear people still tell you that books are looking for 50-50 action.
Yeah, I think that's hilarious when people tell me that too.
All right, let's roll on. 12 p.m. Eastern, we have the Baylor Bears 4-2, 2-1 in the Big 12 at the TCU Horned Frogs 4-2, also 1-2 in the Big 12. We are in Fort Worth, Texas. Nutflush Allen, by the way, says I would like it more if they were a dog, but he's still on Duke team total over. Same situation as last week with USC versus Michigan. Let's talk about this spot. TCU Horned Frogs here. The Frogs are coming off a very ugly loss at Kansas State. Baylor coming off of a bye, and they have a ton to prove. This is not a comforting situation for them. They didn't look good at Oklahoma State, got the win. They beat Kansas State at home, so sure, they handled it better than TCU. But TCU's lost 2 of 3 angry. Baylor has won 2 straight, but must keep winning, and they come in off of their bye week. Let's take a look at the line history and hand it over to Wine Time Sports here. This total is, as you would guess, very high. We have a 66.5. Opened up at 67, climbed up to 68 before it dropped, and it dropped all the way down to 66 before there's a tiny bit of buyback. We have a half-point move towards the under. Then on the point spread here, we have TCU -3. They opened up at 3.5. They were a 3.5 for 10 minutes. So the 3 has gone down to plus 100. It's gone back up to -120. It's gone back to plus 100. And now we're just at a pick 'em. But the fact that the Baylor plus 3.5 lasted for 10 minutes and that's it, and never really came back or didn't come back is a pretty interesting and has to be a point of emphasis here with the breakdown. When we get to the cash flow, we don't have any information on the total, but we know that 80% of the tickets and 94% of the cash is on TCU. Look, I want to back the any team off of a bye week. I want to back. I mean, we talked about it in the Canadian Football League. We had so many of my colleagues with best bets on the Ticats, and we had this weird situation where the Stampeders had a week 15 bye and a week 18 bye. This is the time of year you need the buys late in the year, and of course the Stampeders dominated. Now I wasn't on them, like I wasn't going to go up against everybody on the spot. But here we've talked about how you guys all want Delaware, and I get it. They're coming off of a very important bye week. You need the regroup in the middle of the year, and that's what Baylor got. They got the regroup. Take it away for us here, Wine Time. The floor is yours, Baylor TCU.
This is a fun Big 12 matchup. I think we can finally put to rest that TCU is not going to be competing for a Big 12 title, at least anytime soon. Baylor coming to town here against TCU. I'm on the over, guys. It's quite simple. Both these teams can't stop anybody, and both of these offenses are very high-powered. Have some question marks on this TCU offense. Hasn't really looked too good these last couple weeks. Barely taking care of business against Colorado. They were able to score, but this defense is atrocious, guys. Coming off the loss as well last week to Kansas State. We were on Kansas State. It was a clear-cut Kansas State spot at home. This seems like a Baylor spot now. We're getting 3 points with the better team, in my opinion, the better head coach, too, in David Aranda. I'll take him over Sonny Dykes any day. I know Dykes went to a national title, but that season was also a lot of question marks. But with that being said here, I don't know who's going to stop who and how many drives we're going to see. I mean, how many drives that don't end up in points? Maybe 2, maybe 3. That's how many points I think are going to be scored in this. Shot to Gorey said hundo type of game. Yeah, I think that this could hit easily 80. Maybe I'm not going to joke around and say triple digits because that might happen too. I think that's asking a little too much though. But if Kansas State was able to score 41 on these guys, how much is Baylor going to score on these guys? Baylor is way better than Kansas State. They have a way better offense. They've got a better coach. better team. Give me Baylor also on the +3 -110. And you know what? I'm gonna wait on this, but I'm pretty close to moving on this money line at +130. I'm gonna add the Baylor +3 -110. We're already on the over 66 at -110. Tweeted it out last night. You can find a similar number. 66.5 are out there at even money. But you can find some 66 out there. I think this easily hits 80 points, and I'm going to take the points in my back pocket with the better team in Baylor. +3 -110. They're going to win this game outright. I think people are going to realize that TCU is not that good of a team. Can they score points? Yes, but that defense is atrocious. Baylor's defense, not the best defense either, but I just think these teams are going to be pressing all game long. This is a big game for both teams because essentially whoever loses this game will officially not be in the Big 12 title. And, we'll see what happens with the rest of their season. Both these teams, both these coaches kind of in the hot seat here because they need this win here. David Aranda, it's like, when's he going to be able to get over the hump at Baylor? I love everything he's done and built this program, but he's at some point got to get over that hump, got to get to the Big 12 title and set your team up to maybe go to a college football playoff. I don't know if that happens this year, but I like this Baylor team. I remember capping this team in the beginning of the season. I wanted to move on them to win the Big 12. Glad I didn't. They're still in there, though. This is a team that's going to fight for their coach every single day of the week. I'm going to add Baylor +3 -110. I'm already on the over 66 -110.
It's a great breakdown, and I'm curious to hear Jose's plan because clearly if we're going to succumb to the market lords, you have to back Baylor. But is this being such a buy low spot on the Horned Frogs after horrific display at Kansas State? Does that maybe get in the way? Because at this point, I certainly agree that it's Baylor or nothing. So, Jose Bouquet, take it away. Baylor TCU.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, Baylor or nothing. But I'm just going to wait a little bit and just continue to see how the market unfolds. Because let me double check here. 3.5, I think, is where this opened up at. I just had it in front of me. But I think it opened up at 3.5, has come down to 3. If we get a 2.5, then I'll be like, okay, it's time to move. So I'll sit back, continue to wait, especially if there's all that money on TCU still. So I'll wait. It's always a little bit concerning to me to look at the percentages so early in the week because you have to think who's betting college football earlier this week, people that know what they're doing. So I'll sit back and wait and hope that we are indeed accurate with Baylor. I could definitely add it throughout the week, but it's going to be a stay off from each for now.
So the what concerns me is, we had our friends on Baylor against Auburn. They look terrible. They lose by 14. So I bet them at SMU. They were down 14 late. They show a ton of heart and win in overtime. Then what did we do? We faded. We've been right in certain situations with them and wrong in certain situations. So I'll ask you this one time and then we'll move on. Do you have any concern that you're selling TCU too low after that horrendous display at Kansas State? You can say, well, look at the market. The 3.5 was available for only 10 minutes. And right now, 80% of the tickets, 94% of the cash are on TCU. But do you have any concern that you're just selling them too low? If this was the market and TCU had beaten Kansas State, oh God, I'd be all over Baylor. I'd be all over them. I would say, well, you have to. But here, that's my concern. Is it not a concern of yours?
So this is ultimately, I've watched these last 4 games that TCU has played. I've watched these games multiple times. That SMU game, guys, they won that game by 11 points. SMU was extremely hurt in that game. And it really, the only reason the score was like that was because the last couple minutes, I believe, in the fourth quarter where they really took advantage. But I thought SMU was going to win that game at some point in that game. Look at ASU. We were on ASU. We were all on ASU. And what happened? ASU played horrible, and they still beat this team. What do? They go up they play Colorado at their own home field. I can't even imagine if they would have played in Boulder if Colorado takes care of business there. struggle against them. Then they go back on the road, very hostile environment, struggle against a bad Kansas State team. We were on Kansas State last week, but that's not a good football team. They're definitely getting better, but that's a 6 or 7 win program. I think TCU has had a fraudulent schedule, and if you look at actually watching their games, they haven't looked good all season long other than on offense. And it seems like they're checking out a little bit. It seemed like they were checking out in that last game against Kansas State. It seemed like they gave up early in that one. And Baylor, on the other hand, I feel like has just kind of shown heart. Give or take, they did play Kansas State at home, barely took care of business, and we're on Baylor on the spread in that one, and we were wrong. But they're on a bye week. I think they're going to be ready to go here. I just think this TCU team was kind of overhyped these last couple weeks because of if you looked at the score from the outside in, but if you actually watch the tape, if you actually watch the games, you know that that's not that good of a football team because ASU played a horrible game and they still beat them. So
I guess it's going to require some more time, but Baylor off the bye. My only concern is, are we just selling them too low? I get it. Wine time on Baylor +3 in the over 66. And Jose still going to let this market marinate. Let's roll on. Head to the bounce house in Orlando, Florida. West Virginia Mountaineers 2-4, 0-3 in the Big 12 at UCF, who are 3-3, also 0-3 in the Big 12. And we can look at these losses here. Now, the big story with both these teams on 3-game losing streaks, if there is any sort of advantage, is that West Virginia is coming off of a bye week after losing 38-24 at BYU. UCF gets no help in that regard. They're showing up each week, and they're playing pretty good football. You could say that loss 34-20 at Kansas State was ugly, but the 27-20 loss versus Kansas at home wasn't bad, and we are very high on Cincinnati. So going into Cincinnati and losing 20-11, there's no real harm in that result, although you could say it was garbage type of points they were scoring. 10.5-point dogs. They needed a touchdown with 2 minutes left. So it was maybe a garbage time touchdown, but they did get the cover. Let's take a look at the line history. It's beautiful weather. It's not too windy on Saturday. The wind comes in on Sunday, but right now it's not too windy on Saturday. Let's take a look at the line history here for this one. This one pops off at 1 p.m. Eastern. We have UCF -7 at -120. They opened up at 7.5. I mean, we have a very similar situation with the market in the Baylor TCU game. Now, that was the 3.5 to the 3. Baylor opens up at 3.5. It lasts there for 10 minutes, and then it's a flat 3. Exact same thing happened here. West Virginia opened up at 7.5. It lasted for 10 minutes, and now they're a 7. And that's where it's stuck. Now, it's not a flat 7, although it became one at one point. This is juiced to UCF -120. Take a look at the total here for this one and the cash flow. And we have right now a total of 46.5. This one has dropped pretty fast. Opened up at 49, moved up to 49.5, and then started dropping. And it's been in a free fall until it got to 46. Got to 46 yesterday morning. And then yesterday afternoon, the first buyback to 46.5. But we've seen this drop all the way down from 49. Then we get to the cash flow here for this UCF spot. Sorry, I should have had that set up. Let me see if I can grab it here quickly. And it's come on.
Market information for this game, Jimmy, you said?
Yes.
Yeah, there's none on the website we use. No information on the side or total.
Oh, that's strange. Okay.
Yeah, it's up at the top.
Oh, it's up at the very top?
Yeah, third game.
Oh, you're right. So why don't we take a look at a different book here and see if we can get, and we get information here. So again, I don't know if we trust this site as much as others, but this site says 65% of the tickets and 75% of the cash is on the Mountaineers, 65 and 75. From a total standpoint here, 70% of the tickets, 66% cash on the over, and this has dropped 2.5 points. Wine Time Sports, take it away.
I'm on UCF. I'm at the bounce house, guys. This is a big bounce back spot for UCF. I mean, we were on them, 4 weeks ago when they took care of business against horrible UNC program. Played Kansas State somewhat tough in Kansas State. They played them tougher than TCU did. They played Kansas tough. It was at the bounce house, but Kansas is a pretty good team. I think they might be they're probably not as good as I thought they were a couple weeks ago. But at the same time, I still like them. Cincinnati, There's no, I mean, that's a pretty good loss. You held them to 20 points. I think Cincinnati's a pretty good team. Listen, I don't know who's really a big fan of Scott Frost, if we're being quite honest here, guys. This guy isn't the most liked guy in the locker room in most cases, but still a decent coach. And I don't know. I just think this is a UCF spot. I mean, West Virginia is a bad, bad football team. UCF is a bad, bad football. These are both bad teams here, guys. Make no mistake about it. Neither of these teams are good by any means. If you look at their rosters deep, this UCF team does not look good. West Virginia, Rich Rod coming in, getting his job back at West Virginia. They played that game tough. Who was it against? Pitt. Yeah, and they took care of business against Pitt. Same time, it was in Morgantown. It was in West Virginia, a hostile environment. Haven't been able to take care of business pretty much since then, and they haven't looked good at all. And it's because of the personnel right now. They've lost so many bodies offensively, defensively. So many guys are down right now with injured. They're on that next man up mentality, and it's just not really working because these guys that are playing, younger guys, weren't expected to play this much, and now they've got some games under the belt, getting exposed, and it's probably not the best for their growth. But at the same time, when you lose bodies, you got to replace them somehow. UCF, I mean, look at these quarterbacks here. Jalen Henderson, starting quarterback for West Virginia. Cam Franchard, the starting quarterback for UCF. I mean, we knew him at where did he go? Florida Atlantic last year and Marshall before that. He's a dual threat runner, can definitely get it done. He's a tough kid, 6'2", 205, not the smallest kid either. And he can definitely make some throws, and this kid, it seems like he's kind of taken over the job. I know it's between him and Tavon Jackson. We've seen Tavon Jackson in there a little bit at times to transfer from Indiana. We don't really know who's going to be out there a lot of the time, but I don't really care who's out there for this UCF team. It's the same reason why I was on them against North Carolina. It's because they're playing an even worse team than themselves, and they're laying a kind of spread like 7. Why are they laying 7.5 here? It doesn't make quite sense to me because West Virginia is bad. Yeah, but at the same time, this UCF team's not that good either. I give or take their schedule. It doesn't look, I mean, they've been in some pretty close games though these last couple weeks. So maybe that's the reason for it. But when I look at this roster and break it down, it's not good. I don't like these guys, but I do think they're at the bounce house. It's going to be a hostile environment. They're 3-3. They absolutely need this win for Big 12 play just for their fan base to kind of get them excited. Maybe win 6 games this year. I don't think they're going to get there, but at least give them some excitement for the rest of the season. I think they get it done here. I think they beat these guys by margin, just like how everyone else has been beating this West Virginia team by margin. It hasn't been particularly close either. So give me UCF. I want to find the best number. I think I'm going to have to take a 7 at -120. Didn't end up tweeting this out yesterday or making the play yesterday. I'm making it with you guys. So I'm looking for the best number available. And I think it's going to be a 7 at -120. Yeah, -7, -120. Mark me down, guys. I think they take care of business. They win this game by double digits.
Wine time on UCF. If UCF is the one controlling the pace, that's why this line is moved towards the under. And also with West Virginia getting a chance to kind of regroup. I mean, it's their defense that's been the problem. They allowed 41 at Kansas, 48 at home to Utah, and 38 at BYU. So obviously that would have been the focus on the bye week. Do you agree with this move towards the under? It's pretty blatant.
I do. I wish I would have got on it probably a couple days ago because I was seeing 47.5s and 48s not too long ago. And these are two teams that I don't think are going to score too much either. I don't think West Virginia is going to be able to score many points in this hostile environment. It should be a hostile environment. It's the bounce house. I know they've taken 3 straight losses, but they're actually like reasonable losses. I mean, Kansas State, Kansas, and Cincinnati, all close games. 2 of them were on the road in hostile environments. So I don't know. And they played Kansas tough. I honestly think that they probably should have beaten Kansas in that game. Kansas scored it. I think they were down majority of the game, and they ended up coming back in the second half, and UCF just couldn't get anything going in that second half. So I do think this UCF team is a little bit more battle tested. I think they're more healthy too, and I think that's what's going to help them out through the long run of the game. Even if it's a little slow to start off the game, I think UCF will eventually be able to score, and I think West Virginia won't score. So I definitely lean the under. Might still move on it. We'll see. It's definitely interesting to see it down at 46.5 now. So nothing on the total for right now, though.
Jose Bouquet, we are at the bounce house. West Virginia off of the bye. What do you think here?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. I don't have too many thoughts without really a market in this game that I can, go off of. I saw some books open up at 7.5 and come down to 7. So I was like, oh, that's semi-interested for West Virginia, but some sharp books are still at 7.5. So I'll stay off. I'll watch this game, and I'll be thinking of you wine time. So I hope you cash.
And I apologize, guys. I'm getting a -7 at -110, not -120 right now.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, that's helpful. Jose, do you have interest in the under? Or are you just going to focus on sides?
It would depend on the market. Yeah. Like, if there was a market, it's kind of the opposite of what you're doing for the game we talked earlier. But if there was a market that had like 60% of the bets on like the under, then there's more money on the over and the line's moving towards the over, I guess I'd be interested in betting the over. The reverse line movement spots, it just depends on the market. So
this one has dropped 2.5 points with 70% of the tickets and 66% of cash on the over. Let's roll on to our next spot on the board. We head to Evanston, Illinois. The Purdue Boilermakers 2-4, 0-3 in the Big Ten. At the Northwestern Wildcats 4-2, 2-1 in the Big Ten. Let's start with Northwestern, 3 straight wins and winning at Penn State. 22-21. Franklin gets fired, and Northwestern sitting very pleased with themselves and sitting 2-1 in the Big Ten. They were 20.5-point dogs and win outright. Now, it helped that Alar got hurt, but they played some good football. Is this a sell high spot against the Boilermakers? Boilermakers coming in off their 4th straight loss. Each loss has been by margin. Maybe that 27-20 loss at Minnesota is just one score. But again, they were in control of that football game. It was 2013 going into the 4th quarter, and of course they fall off. 7.5-point dogs, opened up at 9.5, closed at 7.5. So Purdue did cover, and they lose a game by 7 points where they have almost 200 more total yards than the Golden Gophers, 8 more first downs than the Golden Gophers. I mean, they have the ball for 35 minutes of the football game. It takes a special team to lose with those statistics. Let's take a look at the line history and the cash flow, and then hand it over to Wine Time Sports, and then hear from Jose Bouquet here. This one popping off at 3 p.m. So we have the total right now at a 47. Opened up at 48.5. We've dropped 1.5 to 47. It opened up 48.5, got down to 46, a flat 46, before it's climbed up to 47. And then when we get to the line history here for this spot, we only have cash flow information on the side. But when we get to the line history on the said side, we have Purdue +3 at -105. They opened up at 3. Took about 30 minutes to get to 3.5. Stayed at 3.5 for 5 hours. Came back to the 3. Then we have 3.5s come in again on Monday. Comes back to the 3. 3.5s come back again on Tuesday, and now we're back at a 3. Overall, we've had 5 cents of movement towards Purdue. Money is coming in on the Boilermakers. We have, here, let me look at this actually, because I've got it set up. The 59% of the tickets, 55% of the cash according to Action on the over. 92% of the tickets and 95% of the cash is on Purdue. 92 and 95. And here we have similar numbers on the board that we trust more. 80% of tickets and 88% of the cash on Purdue. So it has moved a half point. Is that enough? Take it away for us. Wine Time, Boilermakers, Wildcats.
Yeah, Purdue's cost me some money here these last couple of weeks, blowing these covers, man. They had a nice little start, give or take. I mean, they've had a pretty tough schedule to start Big Ten play, the teams that they've played. Northwestern, I mean, this is a big surprise, guys. 2-1 in the Big Ten right now. They look pretty good too, especially that first game, I believe it was against Tulane in the beginning of the season, where they just couldn't get anything going offensively. Talk about the quarterback, Preston Stone, coming in from SMU, 6th-year guy. Guy's a smart dude. I mean, he doesn't make too many mistakes out there, but he also can't make every single throw on the field. This guy's not going to be playing in the NFL by any means. But he's a pretty serviceable college quarterback over the years. He's always been a winner. He's always been able to win games. And it's translated to Northwestern from SMU. I mean, 4-2, big win against Penn State in Happy Valley. the game that ultimately got James Franklin canned. Very interesting here. I'm on the under. I think that this is going to be a low-scoring affair. This Northwestern defense is for real. These guys really step up. They've got a lot of guys that were returning from last year. Talk about guys like Aiden Hubbard. This guy's 6'4", 255. I remember doing my when I was doing all my research on Big Ten, and I was looking at this defense. I was really impressed. And starts with this guy, Aiden Hubbard, really good edge rusher over there. All these guys pretty much came back from last year. There's not too many transfers out there. I like everything they're doing with this Northwestern program. David Braun is doing an excellent job with this team so far. Very surprised. I mean, a couple years ago when I believe he was the interim coach, but he did come. He won 8 games with them last year. A little bit of a disappointment, and they're not even playing in their home stadium. They're playing in Evanston, Illinois, guys. They're playing on a lacrosse field on the water. It's it is what it is for right now. When that complex, when they get their new stadium built, I think it's supposed to be ready by next year. That place is going to be rolling, and people are going to want to come to Northwestern. Give or take, you got to have good grades when you come here at this point. But I like that they went out and grabbed Griffin Wild from South Dakota State. This guy's tearing it up right now. Nearly 15 yards a catch on 32 catches this year, 3 touchdowns, doing a really good job over there. Then we talk about Purdue, guys. We talk about Ryan Brown. This guy can definitely make the throws on the field, but he makes some really costly turnovers. I mean, how many pick sixes has this guy thrown this year? I know it's been at least 2. But he also can push the ball downfield, and that's what Purdue's been doing all season long. They've been able to actually score points, but this is a Northwestern defense that is a big step up from some of the teams that they have played this season, and that's talking about Notre Dame. That's talking about USC. It's talking about Minnesota. I think Northwestern probably has a better defense than all of them. Illinois, actually Minnesota would be tough, but we know USC and Notre Dame's defense is not good. I think Northwestern is a big step up for them. They've got a lot of momentum going their way. I couldn't move on a side in this game because I leaned Purdue, getting 3 points on the road here, but hearing all that money and percentage on them, don't really want to get involved on the side here. I've just gotten burned these last couple of weeks with Purdue, but maybe it's my time to get the money back with them. But I'm going to stay away from the side. I moved on the under 47 at -110 last night. It's the same number pretty much across the board. I think this is going to eventually get to a 46 at some point this week and maybe a 45.5 on Saturday. I think it's going to continue to drop. I don't think a lot of points will be scored in this because we know Northwestern likes to go slow. They don't rush. Preston Stone gets the ball. They're averaging it seems like 3 or 4 yards every single play, but it's enough to get first downs. But they just move the ball really slow. So give me the under 47 -110 in this.
How do we not sell Northwestern high? The only thing is because it's a very public spot, but we're talking early in the week. These are not rec gamblers betting on 0-3 in the Big Ten Boilermaker squad after Northwestern beats Penn State. If this was the other way around, we'd all have slammed Purdue already. So I'd like to hear what Jose has to say about this market. And by the way, the weather is somewhat of an issue, but it's supposed to be pretty good from about, noon till 7. The rain, if you look at the day, there's rain in the forecast, but the heavy rain comes at night and the light rain is in the morning, and we don't have heavy winds. So it's, again, you need, when it's something like that, you need to keep your eye on it, especially for total bettors. Jose Bouquet, what do you think of the spot?
I'm kind of in the same boat you are right now. And I agree with your sentiments on this one about the early money being sharper money. The difference in this game, obviously, than the Duke Georgia Tech game we talked about. That's a ranked team, kind of as an underdog. I think that attracts more people to bet this. On this side, this is a game that, who knows how many people will be getting to bet this game, but it's kind of a nook and cranny kind of game that you have to find if you want to bet instead of that one. So I agree with you. It's Purdue or nothing, selling Northwestern high off of that big victory. We'll see all that unfolds. The concern is I hope that public bet percentage gets slower. If it's in the 60s, like 60-60 each, I'd be okay with that. If it's like 75 each, I probably won't be able to move on it because I think it'll be a little bit too public. So what that number is in my head to move on it and to not move it, what's that threshold? I'm not sure, but I agree with you. It's Purdue or nothing.
They have to be bet. I think it's even more than that. Now, I agree that looking at these numbers, 90%. I guess you have just to see what happens to the market. But
if it keeps moving, you're gonna feel better about it, right? So that's my concept of waiting.
But if it moves to 2.5, you won't feel better about it. You need that 3 still. I who in their right mind would want the Boilermakers here?
For real, especially the way they've been playing lately, man. They've been blowing a lot of these games late too. And yeah, I hear you. That's why I saw this number and I was a little bit surprised because I thought it'd be maybe a 4.5 as well as Northwestern's been playing. But the fact that it was a 3.5, I was like a little fishy, as bad as Purdue has been playing, because they still have some heart in that program. We know Barry Odom wants to build something over there. It's going to take a couple years. This might be a good spot. If I was on Purdue, I wrote down the money line at plus 140. I might just say screw the points and give me the money line that they win this game outright. I'm going to wait on it. I have the +3 written down, and I have the money line written down right now with some question marks next to it. Not going to move on it quite yet, but definitely I'll be monitoring it this week.
What a job Justin got the +3.5. What a job. That was not, you had to time that perfectly. Gorky on Purdue too. Look, this is what I think here. Sky says whole public pushes to 4.5 and then take Purdue. This is what I think. And I could be very wrong here. But I believe that in these offices, somebody's telling their boss, don't worry. Northwestern money is going to come in by the bucket full. Everybody's going to be betting Northwestern. Don't worry. That's, and again, I'm going to wait here. But the Boilermakers must be bet 0-3. You get fading. It's perfect. You're fading Northwestern off of taking out Penn State. But again, I can understand wanting just to get an idea from the marketplace here. And Kyle Field says Northwestern ever won a game by more than 3. Yeah. Purdue has to be bet here.
Yeah, so, if it does go to a 2.5, I would end up just betting money line at that point.
Okay, that is an absolutely fascinating spot here. Let's move on to 2 games left on today's show. We have Wine Time Sports joining us. We have the number 4 ranked Texas A&M Aggies, 6-0, 3-0 in the SEC. At the Arkansas Razorbacks, 2-4, 0-2 in the SEC. We're at Razorback Stadium in Fayetteville. Beautiful weather for football, and Arkansas got us paid. I was beating myself up for not being on the first half. Last year, I was on the 12.5, the spreads between 12 and 14. I was only betting first halves, and I was beating myself up. Then they came back late and took care of everything. Losers of 4 straight, but they showed us something, or maybe it was the Volunteers were more showed us how weak they are. A&M is just rolling through everybody, but this is the big angle that Troy was talking about in the NFL. 3 straight home games for an A&M. You're comfortable. You are very, very comfortable. And then you head out on the road. Historically, fading a team that just played 3 straight weeks at home has been very successful. Now, fading the Aggies has not been successful at all. So a lot of different things to ponder on this one. So let's set up the line history again. Beautiful weather, nothing to worry about. So let's get this line history up. Right now, we have A&M. Sorry, let me get over here. Come on. Sorry, I should have had this set up for you guys. Oh, there we go. We have A&M right now minus 7.5. Minus 7.5. So, they opened up minus 7.5, minus 105. A&M starts getting juiced. It comes back. It's only moved 5 cents towards A&M. But it's over the 7, which is hugely important. Then we'll go to this total. Let's get the total up here. From a total scenario, we have this right now. Come on, show me. Sitting at 61.5. It's 61.5. So basically, side and total have done very little movement. It opened at 61. Took about 5 hours to move to 62. Came back to 61.5, just a half-point move. So very little movement here for this one. And when we take a look at the cash flow, we have both side and total. We have 58% of the tickets and 52% of the cash on the Razorbacks. 80% of tickets on the over, just 52% cash on the over. It's a very high number. Wine Time Sports, take it away for us here. Very interesting spot, A&M, Arkansas.
Yeah, this is a very interesting spot. A&M is going to go on the road to Arkansas. You guys have heard me. This is going to be a hostile environment out there. At least it's still at this point in the season. They still got some ball games to be played. They keep losing. I don't know how much the fan base is going to be out there, but it should be 76,000 strong. Bobby Petrino taking over for Sam Pittman a couple weeks ago, got canned, as he probably should have, but it's hard to win at Arkansas. But he brought in a lot of guys in the transfer portal. He returned the redshirt senior quarterback, Taylon Green. We know how dynamic he is as a runner with the football in his hand. He's probably the most dynamic runner with the football in his hand at the quarterback position, maybe in all of college football right now. This guy can move. He's hard to take down, too. He's long and lengthy. 6'6", 235. I mean, this guy, who would want to tackle this guy more than 10 times in a game, especially how good of an athlete he is in open space. He's also got Mike Washington Jr. and Braylon Russell in the backfield, two guys that been doing a really good job running the football. A lot of worries about protecting the football because these guys both fumble like crazy, it seems like. But what do we know from this Arkansas Razorbacks team? They can score, and they can score against anybody in the nation. It doesn't matter who it is. At the same time, doesn't matter who you are, you can score on this ball team right here because this is an awful defense. There's a reason why their totals are in the 60s now. It seems like every single week. And there's a reason why this total is at 61 and a half. It was at 62 at some point, as Jim mentioned it. There's going to be points scored in this game, guys. Although I do like the Arkansas side in this at the +7.5 at home, I'm not going to take it because I've been burned by A&M this year, and A&M is playing some good football. Give or take, I mean, their best, I mean, the more competitive part of their schedule is still yet to come. These last 4 to 5 games are going to be big time for them to make an SEC title run. But this team is rocking and rolling right now. Mike Elko has this team heading in the right direction right now. 6-0, 3-0 in conference. They've got such a home field advantage at Kyle Field, though, and they really take advantage of that when their opponents come to town. I mean, their wide receiver room is completely stacked with Mario Craver and KC Concepcion. I mean, two guys that are just so explosive with the ball in their hand. KC, it seems like every single time he touches the ball, he can take it 80 yards for a touchdown. And when he's in open space, there's no one catching him. Say the same thing about Craver as well. Ruben Owens doing a really good job running the ball for him. Marcel Reed doing a good job running the ball. He's improved on his throwing this year. I think it's because of the weapons that are around him more than himself, but guys that night, a dynamic athlete, and A&M is just firing on all cylinders right now. I just couldn't really move on Arkansas on this spot. So instead I just moved on the over 61, tweeted out last night, -110. You can probably find some 61s out there, 61.5. I'm seeing right now. I like the over in this spot. I just think there's going to be points. Even if Arkansas goes down, like let's say if A&M goes up like really early, this Arkansas team is going to be able to score, especially when they're down, because that's what Arkansas has been doing all season long in these games. They've been getting down early in these games and coming back, despite the Notre Dame game is an exception because they just got blown out from start to finish in that. But a lot of these games, they really come back in the second half. They come out with a better game plan in the second half. Probably more so because they're down so many points and the defense is in prevent defense already and not trying to give up too much. And when, like I said, when Taylon Green takes off and runs, I mean, he's hard to take down at 6'6", 235. So Taylon Green props are probably live here. Shout out to my guy, Dabby Cab. I got to hit him up and see if he's on that prop because that might be a good spot here. I'm going to move on the over 61. I'm going to stay away from Arkansas on the +7.5 and just think that both teams are going to be able to score. And that's it. I just think there's points. There's a reason why it's at 61.5.
They're getting different weather information here from different spots, but basically, if this game was at 12 p.m. Eastern, and so this is why you got to keep an eye on it. If this game was at 12 p.m. Eastern, it'd be right in the thick of the rain, but it's not. There are a couple of thunderstorms in the afternoon, but it's supposed to be in the early afternoon. So again, Fayetteville's an hour earlier than Eastern Standard Time, so the game pops off at 2:30 local, and at 3 o'clock local, it's supposed to light rain to stopping of the rain. So, but in saying that, it is pretty windy. It's worse than I thought. I had one site that's saying that it stopped rain, and I looked in a couple, and it's worse than I thought. 14, 15 mile per hour winds. if this changes, because it so easily could, we're 4 days away. If this changes and it's full rain and 14-mile-per-hour winds, would that make you uncomfortable with this total?
It could, but at the same time, we might see a lot of sloppy football, as we've already seen with this Arkansas team. They might just play even sloppier on defense, not be able to tackle anyone in open space. Might get a little slippery out there. So, yeah, I think that actually might help, if anything, because we might see a lot of turnovers, especially when they're on probably in their own territory in the same. I mean, Arkansas has fumbling issues. They've been fumbling the ball all season long. They've got to work on that. And if it's raining out there and they start fumbling, and they get set up A&M in good field position, and then they're going to let we know Arkansas is going to score here. It's just my thing, if A&M can score probably 30-plus points to get over this total, to make this like a close game, because there's not a team that Arkansas can't score against. I guess you could say Notre Dame, but they just came out flat in that game. I think points. And if it rains, it probably will make it even better, because we're going to probably see some mistakes and probably a lot of explosive plays when guys take off in open space, especially when you got guys like Casey Concepcion and Mario Craver. I mean, these guys get the ball in open space. These defenders can't tackle you on the first tackle. They are gone. There's no way you're catching these guys. So I see a lot of explosive plays in this, and probably a lot of turnovers in their own territory.
I wonder if this is the sell high here. I mean, we've only seen Arkansas at home once, basically, this month. I know they started in September with Arkansas State, and they got destroyed by Notre Dame at home. I watched almost that entire game at Memphis, and they looked vulnerable throughout. Jose Bouquet, the Aggies hanging over that 7 line at -7.5. We have wine time on the over. Does anything appeal to you here?
No, if I'm being honest, it does seem a little low on the road here, so I'd probably lean Arkansas, but I don't think I have any strong opinions or feelings in this game. Looking at the market here, the line has not really moved much. 5 cents maybe. 58% of the bets, 52% of the money in Arkansas. I'll sit back and watch. A lot of money on the over, though. 80% of the bets and 52% of the money on the over. So I should say there's a lot of money on the under, a lot of bets on the over. So maybe considered an under, but nothing for me.
Well, let's talk about our final spot on the board. We head to Provo, Utah for a rivalry spot. 57 Fahrenheit, clear and sunny, 3-mile-per-hour winds. It's beautiful weather for this football game. Utah back on track. They lost badly at home to Texas Tech. Then they beat up on West Virginia at West Virginia. They got their bye week, and then they destroy Arizona State at home. I was fortunate to push the first half under. The game flew over. I understand that we didn't know that Arizona State's backup would be in. It wasn't confirmed until pretty late, and the heavy move towards Utah, and Utah just dominated. I still almost cashed the full game under. It was that late touchdown with 2 minutes left, a meaningless touchdown that got me. Then we have BYU. BYU is rolling 3-0 in the Big 12, coming off the double overtime victory at Arizona. 3 of their last 4 games have been on the road, and they've been looking really good. They take out Arizona as 2.5-point road favorites, and down 14-7 early, came back, fought back. Then, they were up 14-7 early. Arizona came back, fought back, and then BYU showed their class late. Let's take a look at the line history and see what Wine Time thinks about our final college spot on the board, and then we will review action. This one's total is at 49. 49. Utah and BYU both rank playing each other. It's Utah football heaven. Opened up at 48.5, dropped down to 47.5, and has climbed up to 49. Now let's take a look at the side and the cash flow for this one. From a side perspective, we have the road Utes -3 at -120. They opened up at 3, and within 20 minutes went to 3.5. They stayed at 3.5 for 72 hours. It moved back to 3 today. So you can now get a 3 once again. Take a look at the cash flow for our last spot on the board here. We have no information on the total, but we have 66% of tickets and 79% of the cash on the Utah Utes. Wine time, take it away. Your plan for Utes Cougars.
You guys know where I'm going to be at this. If you guys were to guess, I'm on the Utah Utes here in this spot. You talked about it, Jim. They took a tough loss to Texas Tech. I think they really had to look in. Kyle Whittingham had to look in the mirror after that game and think what's next here, because that was your chance to probably take out the Big 12 title contender at home in your own hostile environment, and you got obliterated, especially by the second half by that backup quarterback. I think it was more so the backup quarterback coming in and not having enough film on him to absolutely torch that secondary. And we knew Dampier was hurt in that game. He's gotten back healthy. He looks healthy out there. Devin Dampier, this guy's really dynamic on the ground, man. He's a playmaker. He's got playmakers to throw to him. Can't forget about this offensive line. We had some question marks against Texas Tech because they were getting pushed back the entire game, but we know Texas Tech has one of the best defensive lines in the nation right now. That's what money can buy over there. Over here, this is a very experienced offensive line, guys. This is one of the things when I capped Utah in the beginning of the season. This is their strong point right here, is the fact that you've got all guys that were here last year. You got 2 offensive linemen that are going to go in the first and second round in the NFL draft. You've got Wayshawn Parker. You've got Nicorey Rogers in the running back, 2 guys that are pretty explosive coming into the backfield. They got these guys from Washington State and New Mexico, and these guys are performing well. They got to get Ryan Davis and Tobias Merriweather a little bit more involved in the passing game. But I think Dampier just needs to get the ball to his playmakers like Wayshawn Parker and like Nicorey Rogers. His boy, the slot receiver, he's hurt, so he won't be in this one. I forgot his name. With that being said, I like Utah here. This is the better football team. The fact that they're going to BYU. BYU the last couple of years, it seems like they're just a darling to college football. Like they just like 6-0 start here. This team is not a 6-0 program. I think Kalani is a really good head coach over there. I'm just not super high on this team. Bear Bachmeier has been very impressive as a true freshman coming in here, being the starting quarterback here. And they've been playing well. This is going to be 63,000 strong, but this is probably going to be half Utes, at least 20,000 in there. Fans travel well. This is a big rivalry game, not for these programs, but for the state of Utah. This means a lot to both of these programs. This is a big rivalry game, and I think whoever wins this game might have a route to the Big 12 title. Utah is still not out of it. We know they're going to battle every single week. We know what Kyle Whittingham's going to do, that coaching staff is going to do, and that's win ball games when it matters most. And this is when it matters most here. There's a reason why they're 3.5. I bought the -3 at -120 last night. I just want the 3. I didn't want the 3.5, but the fact that it's a 3.5 and they're on the road, like, I know it's not a big road game because it's still in Utah, but you're still going to their turf. You're going to Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah. The fact that you're the favorite, I think, tells you something. They've got the better quarterback. They've got the better offensive line. They've got the better playmakers in open space. Defense, we could maybe have some discussions about. BYU has a pretty good defense, but BYU has just been sliding by all their opponents. But at the same time, it is impressive because they're winning. At the end of the day, all you have to do is win games to get to where you want to be. And they're right where they want to be, 6-0, tied for first in the Big 12 right here, BYU. I think Utah takes them out here. They win this game probably by 7 to 10 points, and they kind of show their dominance here. I think in the trenches, I think this offensive line is not going to get pushed back, and I think Devin Dampier is going to have all kinds of time, not just to throw, but to run with it too. Give me Utah -3, -120, a little bit juicy. You could still find that at some spots, but I'm seeing 3.5s at -110, -105. You'll have to buy up to get the 3. That's what I did. Give me Utah here.
The Utes here, and as you know, Troy talks about in the NFL, the road team staying above 3 at 3.5 has been a very, very profitable angle here, and that's the expectation here. It is moving to 3 now, but it is a juice 3, as you said. I'm getting that available as well. Let's hear from Jose Bouquet. Man, that stadium looks so beautiful with the mountains behind it. Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo, Utah. Jose Bouquet, any interest?
I haven't moved on the game yet. I don't think I will. The Holy War is one of my favorite rivalries in college football. Fun fact, I used to write for a college or a Pac-12 website specifically for SB Nation. And Utah obviously was one of the bigger schools in the Pac-12, and that game was just gigantic every year. Both these schools really do not like each other. The fan bases do not like each other. I think this is like, their Super Bowl for each squad. And the fact that Utah was favored on the road was a little bit surprising to me. Rankings in this area, they're all pretty close. So I wasn't like a higher ranked team lower ranked team over a higher ranked team. Just the fact that they would be favored is surprising. I will say just kind of, I hate to say this, but just kind of like Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, Utah usually wins these games. They find a way to win these games. So I probably lean their direction here. Again, the fact that they're favored on the road by 3.5 points, I think is a pretty strong indication, in my opinion. Let me double check this again. There is 60% of bets on them. I had it up in front of me here, but I'll scroll. 66% of the bets and 79% of the money on Utah here. The line did come back a little bit. It was 3.5. Now it's 3. So I'll be a little interested to watch this line going forward throughout the week, but I'll probably just end up staying off.
Do you guys remember last year in this rivalry what happened at the end of the game? What the athletic director did from Utah?
No.
He went up to the refs immediately after the game and said, "You called a bullshit ass fucking game." And he ended up getting fined like $500,000, almost lost his job because he pretty much said that you guys rigged this game. There was a lot of questionable calls. Guys, go back and watch the game last year. If you guys have some free time, anyone in the chat, it's a fun game because I was on Utah and they clearly should have won that game. And I forgot what the flags and penalties were, but there was a lot of questionable calls in that final quarter where a lot of people were turning their heads and were like, what's going on here? And the athletic director went after the refs after the game. He said in the press conference, he said like he was cursing at him. Like it was pretty wild to see. You don't see that, especially from a program like Utah. So they were pissed off. So I think Utah, this is a big game for them because they got the game stolen from them last year at their home field. They're going to BYU's home field, take care of business easily.
It was 22-21. At the time, BYU was undefeated, right? Ranked 9th.
Yeah.
And the Utes were under 500.
It was some kind of clock. I forgot what it was in the final. Like there was 2 plays specifically, 2 flags, I think, that it was just like, wait, what is going on right now? I can't think of them at the top of my head. I've got so much going on right now, but that's something to keep an eye out for. If you guys have some time, watch that last 10 minutes of that game.
BYU won that game despite going 1 of 12 on third down. Wow. I remember it, but I don't remember exactly what happened. So that game was 22-21, and I know that the Utes were at home. Generally, we think that the home team will dictate the pace. This total 49 seems pretty high for a rivalry game that's this important. Last year, though, the total was 40.5.
Oh, wow. So this is a high total, and they're expecting points in this one. I think it's going to be Utah scoring all the points here, but BYU's a good program. So I definitely see them being able to score here too, but I just think Utah is going to take this game a little bit more personally and be able to score at will here. That is interesting. The total last year, it's a lot lower, and it ended at 43. So seeing a total here at 4. I mean, this has gone up, right? What did this line open up at?
Well, it's gone up like a half point. It opened up at 48.5. It dropped to 47.5, but then we had that 1.5 point move to the over, and there was a 1.5 point move where the over is juiced. So it's like it almost feels like a 2 point move when that happens. It's a huge move to the over. Someone bet the over that the books respect, and they moved the total accordingly. Utes, BYU. Let's review Wine Time's action. He's on the Utes here at -3 at -120. He's on the over 61 in Aggies, Razorbacks. He's on the under 47 in Boilermakers, Wildcats. I want to be involved with Purdue here, but I need to wait. I want the under in the bounce house game against West Virginia, but I'm going to wait on that. We have Wine Time on UCF -7. Wine Time on Baylor +3 in the over 66. I like the Baylor coming off the bye. That's going to require a little more studying. And then we have Wine Time and Jose both on Duke going up against Gorky in that one. And I need to study that a little bit more, but it certainly feels like the market is screaming that Duke is live here. But with Gorky on the other side, I'm going to need to study it a little bit more. Blind Time and Jose on Duke. So, Jose, of all of this action here, your only spot is the Duke spot. You haven't added anything from these games.
The mighty Delaware Hens.
Yes, from tonight's action. But
Yeah.
for the Saturday best bets?
No. I will admit I was looking over the full card, and there were some spots that did interest me. But I'm just going to keep waiting on the market. Like I'll give Justin McKelvey a quick shout out here. Ole Miss, Georgia. As of right now, all the money's on Ole Miss, and the line has been just plummeting towards Georgia. Very public underdog kind of spot here. Don't be surprised if I end up talking about Georgia Ole Miss later in the week, but just letting the market do its thing. And hopefully by Thursday, Friday, we'll have more public money come in. See what happens.
And I'm looking forward to get those games that you want to talk about and to work on them. For tonight's action, Jose's on Delaware money line. I was going to bet the under 57.5 while we were here, and I never did, but it's still 57.5, so there's no concerns there. And then I think that we sell Sam Houston high. And I know it sounds crazy, but we buy UTEP low. And I just need to know about Malachi Nelson. And so I'm going to be trying to research that before I move on it. Wine Time is on UTEP team total over 24.5. Of course, that's predicated on your expectation of Malachi will be under center.
Yep.
But we need, I need to have that verified. That is our college football for today. Wine Time, spectacular work, my man. Thank you for rocking with us. Wine Time also has MLB action. First 5 over 3.5 in ALCS Game 3. Seattle hosting the Jays, and the full game over 7 at -125. I'm going to pop Wine Time's X handle here in the chat. Please support our guy, Wine Time Sports. Wine Time, thank you for all your hard work, my man. Any last words for Capper supporting the show?
Oh, blessed to do this with you, Jimmy and Jose. Love doing this with you guys. Love capping sports with you guys, talking ball. Shout out to everyone in the chat as well. My guy, Justin McKelvey. Appreciate you, my guy, Nasty Nate, Kyle Fields. Everyone in there, Gorky. I saw a couple people in there, Rez Mob, Brennan Gregory, everyone out there, man. Shout out to you guys for showing out. Chappy Funk, got to meet him in the Discord on Saturday. Really cool guy. Got to talk some college football with him, so that was cool. Shout out to everyone, though, man. I'll be back on Friday capping some baseball and capping those games because I've already got my action loaded for Friday. Didn't want to talk about those today, though, because we're going to talk about them on Friday. I'm excited for it, and we'll be adding some action as well throughout the week. Follow me on Twitter, Wine Time Sports. Love you guys. Let's go.
There he is. Wine Time Sports in the house. We have action. Toby Lane's play today, Sam Houston money line. Fap win is moving on Ole Miss. He's moving on the Utes as well. Flank stake play today is the Chicago Blackhawks money line. He's also on the Mammoth over 3.5, and Sam Houston on the points, and Delaware minus the points. Slatsy is on Panthers plus 110 in regulation. Jim Dewigger is on Buffalo first period over 1 at plus 175. That's the Sabres first period over 1. Slatsy has a Mammoth Blues money line parlay at plus 105. Drewski on the Mariners money line and the under 7. Sky on the over 6 in Sabres Senators. Maiden Philly is on Florida tonight. Florida today and New Jersey tomorrow. Ron Crawford, NHL spreadsheet play today is in, and it is the Florida Panthers. If you are listening on headphones, you might want to turn it down for 1 second as we are putting new music behind this. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play today on the Florida Panthers. Ron Crawford! DC Capper, there's a lot of parity in hockey, but no, I think the Mammoth win by margin. I'm on the Mammoth puck line. Again, the Mammoth can be pushed around. They're not a big hockey team. And the Blackhawks did that to them. Blackhawks out hit them. I don't have it. I have it in my notes, but like 31-15. The Flames are a small hockey team that can't physically hurt you. They're the perfect team for the Mammoth. You have the Flames on the second half back-to-back after fighting their hearts out to lose to the Golden Knights. And now they fly down to an angry Mammoth team off the 3-1 loss in their home opener. I think the Mammoth, team total over. I don't bet favorites on the team total over. Generally, I mean, you need 4 goals, which you can get. And this is juice to the under. And the Blackhawks have been playing very tight, accountable defensive hockey. But that's the wrong one. Sorry. Let me get to the Mammoth team total here. The Mammoth team total would be a way I could double down on them. But I took them on the puck line at plus money, so I'm fighting for it. Yeah, over 3.5 at -120. It's a pretty good number. And you can get better than that. No, we're gonna get new music, Rez. We're working on the new music. Gorky on a Delaware Blues money line parlay is also on Partisan money line at plus 225. We have Nasty Nate on the Panthers, Blues, Mammoth, Sabres.
When you check Twitter later, Jimmy, you'll see Nasty Nate's success. Put like 2 big NHL parlays together and cashed them both. So shout out to you, Nate.
I love to hear it, man. I love to hear it. We got Kong's clips action as well.
By the way,
Yeah.
you've seamlessly transitioned into saying Mammoth instead of Utah Hockey Club. It was very seamless. You said Mammoth about 15 times there, and it stopped becoming a real word for me for a hot moment. But you've transitioned well.
Yeah, thank you, I guess. Well, the team has a name, and I call them that name.
Well, in my head, there's still the Utah Hockey Club to me. I don't know. And the Mammoth is an interesting name. So hey, shout out to you.
Kind of like the Mammoth name.
I do too. I like the colors in the logo. It's just Mammoth. You said so many times. I was like, oh my gosh, Mammoth. Just a lot, just like Mammoth, huh?
Cal first half -6.5 for Kong. Miami first half -7. Miami full game -12.5. TCU over 66. Oklahoma under 43 for Kong's clip. Yeah, Nate said it should have been the Yetis.
The Utah Yetis just kind of flow a little better. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I guess so. The problem is that
There's
the plural of Yeti is Yeti. So it'd be the Utah Yeti. And then people would add the S to it.
Yeah, singular mammoth, I think, is also a little weird, but if you had a whole pack of mammoths, then good God.
And then in NHL, I'm on the under 6 in Ottawa, Buffalo. I'm on the under 6 in Florida, Detroit. I'm on the Blackhawks first period, and I'm on the Mammoth. The Mammoth. Godfather, yeah, it says, would that have clashed with the ads? There was something about it, wasn't there? I thought there was something about it, but I got to.
I thought there was already like a Yeti team. But you're right. You can't have it just be Yetis and not be a word, right?
I think there was something.
Maybe the logo looks too much like the Avalanche. Great, by the way. Great team name, the Avalanche.
Yeah, they were refused. And they were using the plural for Yetis. Yeah.
How weird.
The Yeti Coolers brand.
Ah, respect. Those are good coolers, good cups. That's funny.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
That's funny.
Then I'm on the Mammoth puck line. I have no move in the Jays game.
Yeah, I'm not betting it either, by the way.
I want to back we haven't heard. I wanted to back the Blue Jays. I wonder if we're diving into the Bieber's inability to get right-handed bats out too much, but why are you off of it, and were you close to making a move on it?
Baseball's been just a bitch to me recently. I'm in 1-5 my last few baseball bets. I'm like, good God. And it's funny. I've been successful in college football, obviously, and that was just disappointing to see. But no, I didn't really have anything that I was looking at in that game. 53% of the bets, 66% of the money on Toronto. I've been betting overs. I bet the over in last night's game, and they've just been kind of just sucking the life out of me. I don't like betting overs. And then just seeing the Dodgers in like the 7th, 6th, 5th inning, just keep getting guys on base and no one scoring. It's just like, good God. Like, I just, you know what? I'll ride with the college football for right now and keep just watching and learning. But I will admit to you, Jimmy, I saw our guy TJ say this. I was close to putting a full 100 on the Dodgers to win the World Series. It was minus 150. It was gross. I was like, whatever. I don't want to lay like juice like that, but I do think this is open shut. Dodgers win the World Series. Now, I will be interested to see if the Mariners do advance, what those series prices will be. The individual games prices will be interesting because, you know, the Mariners will have at least the front line starting pitchers to match. But I do think the Dodgers have this. It's pretty wrapped up, in my opinion.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's tough. Tough games, though. Playoffs are tough to bet in my opinion, but I'm excited to watch them.
We have the bookie buster play of the day, the over 6.5. Over 6.5 in Ottawa, Buffalo. So that's at a big plus money price there. Interested, DC. I'm interested why you took the 6.5 and didn't give yourself the push at 6. Very interesting. Spooner is on the Mariners minus 125. Says he wants to move on the Red Wings. Anything you'll say to keep someone off of Detroit? I think the Panthers should be faded in every road game all year long. The problem is that the Wings did not deserve that victory in Toronto. Outshot 40-15. Now they don't have. Now they don't have their one of the stars of their power play and their best sniper, Lucas Raymond. And the Panthers are coming off of a loss. But I truly believe if you fade the Panthers in every road game this year, your ROI is going to be incredible. You know, so they have a lot to prove without Barkov and Tkachuk, and they're doing that at home. On the road, it's a bit of a different story. Also, the Panthers are going to beat up the Red Wings out there. The Panthers out-hit Philadelphia 24-8, and Philadelphia is bigger than Detroit. Detroit has some real issues with their forward size. The first two lines are small. So if I had a free bet on the side, for sure I'd taken the Wings. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the look. And again, if you bet against the Panthers in every road game, you're going to be sitting back counting cash. So I mean, they'll realize what not having Barkov out there for 25 minutes a game, winning every faceoff, being defensively accountable, having size, imposing his will on the opponent, all that. They're going to realize that soon, that it's much easier at home in front of your home crowd than when you're on the road and you need them out there. I think they'll see it. But Andrew G thinks that the Panthers will take care of business here against the Wings. Thank you guys for rocking with us today. Andrew G, Nasty Nate. I'll take a look at those parlays, Nate, my man. Spooner. DC Capper, The Godfather, Jose Perez, Rez Mob, Justin McKelvey, Kong's Clips. What a great group. Kyle Fields in the house. Brennan Gregory, Chappie Funk. Thank you guys. Summit. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Gorky, thank you for all the support. T-Mac. Oh, so are you pulling the trigger on the Jets on Sunday? I think I am. I just wanted a little bit more time. I'm starting to slow down on how much I put out on Tuesday night, which I'm comfortable with. Basically, it's more the totals that I need to beat or the spots where I need to beat a number or a line. So I'm waiting a little bit, but I would tell you what my record is through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. But it's so good that whenever I am in this situation, I tell people about it and it stops.
Yeah, that's why I don't like you telling everyone I'm 6-0 in college football.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I don't want to tell anyone. I just want it to keep on happening quietly. But hey, you can't run from it. 6-0, hopefully 7-0 tonight. After tonight.
Well, I tell you what I'm going to do now. This is as early as we've ended a show in a while. I'm going to go work on the get the records going, get the records finished. We're close.
That's the Lord's work right there.
Everything will be ready to go. Everything's set for tomorrow. All the records are done for tomorrow, but I'm only missing finishing Wine Time and Gorky. So I'll go do that right now. Thank you guys for rocking with us. Jose, thank you for all your hard work. Oldie, thank you, my friend. And we loved having you rock with it. Oldie, we need you to get an X account just so it's easy to get a hold of you. But I guess I could just send messages in the Discord because we want you on our live streams too, Oldie. You were awesome last week, my man.
Yep.
Good luck to everybody. Go out there and get that cash. Jose, my friend, good luck to you. Please, bless our action and let us into the future.
Yeah, again, it's a beautiful thing what we can do over the interwebs. And by the way, Nasty sorry, maybe you should go on a run.
I'm going to, but I just need to at least do 1 hour I'll go at 4
of records.
Yeah, I need an hour, put in an hour of records.
Respect to your running grind, because I would rather die than do physical activities recently. So shout out to you, Jimmy, and shout out to everyone in the chat. We like meeting you guys on screen and just building this relationship over the internet and capping and everything. It makes this stuff, very fun, very enjoyable. And you guys on screen and on the chat are some of my best friends, like Jimmy says. So we appreciate you guys as always for watching. If you're not a member, become a member, because you guys can join the Discord. I saw Rez ask me tonight about a baseball watch. It might even be a Delaware watch along, but I'll try to jump in the Discord, voice chat. Maybe I'll just hang out and fucking play blackjack by myself in the Discord. Who knows? But it'll be a fun time nonetheless. We'll be watching Delaware, and if Delaware gets their ass kicked, I can just say goodbye to everyone very easily. So shout out to you guys in the chat. Shout out to the Discord. Let's go make some money, and let's let Jay a Los Bookmakers.